Hello, 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 and welcome to Friday night stream. I'm not calling it Citizen Hour anymore. Maybe it is still Citizen Hour. I don't know. But hello, it is Friday. It is Friday, and it is 8:58 on the 8th of March, 2024. It is. It has been an exciting week, friends. It has been an exciting week, especially yesterday. So Dhruv Rathi put out a community post on his YouTube channel, and now I have just crossed 30K in a day and more. So thank you, Dhruv. If you're watching this, much appreciated. He shared one of the videos that I did, and now it is going nuts because that is the power of Dhruv Rathi. So, yeah. So what I was expecting today, I had already announced that I'll do a Savarkar stream. So, and this happened in the middle. So I know there would be a lot of new people who will be here. New subscribers, lots of new subscribers, lots of curious people. Plus, I have changed my thumbnail game finally. I know a lot of you have been like, not exactly cursing me, but basically saying कि हाँ content अच्छा है पर designer थोड़ा सा कच्चा है. So I'm trying to up my game, friends. That's what is happening. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So hello. Today's agenda, very simple. We are going to go through the life and times of Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Damodar Das. Is he Vinayak Damodar Savarkar? Damodar Das alag hai. Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, right? And we are going to do a few things, right? So intro is not for you, that's for me. We are going to go through his life timeline. It's a long one, as you can see. Some fascinating facts and observations, mainly why mercy petitions, so many mercy petitions. Then what is Gandhi's, what is the relationship between Gandhi and our friend VD Savarkar? Then there is of course the Godse chapter, which is kinda nuts. And then there are some fun assorted facts that I have also collected, right? And then finally, we are going to talk about his belief systems, about Hindutva, about two nation theory, Akhand Bharat, all the things. So, yeah, this is 2 days of research, friends. And I am going to put out all the sources also later. There are a few I have put down already. So, after this video is done, I will put down the sources of everything in the description. Okay. So, yeah, so that's the plan. I had some performance anxiety today, honestly. This still happens. I'm like it's stage fright, as we boomers call it. Stage fright ho gaya, stage fright. It is a very tricky topic to sort of talk about, especially in current times. But I was like, I'ma do it. I'ma do it. I'ma do it. And hello, so many people here already. So, guys, if you're watching this and you are not able to chat, that is because I have enabled subscriber only mode this time. So, you can subscribe to my channel. You can wait for 10 minutes, sort your thoughts out, and then you can chat. Okay. This is a protective measure I have taken for myself today. Okay. Yes. Joseph Stalin. First person, okay. Hi, Joseph Stalin. He was here first, of course. RK, thank you for the support. Vikata came and said, Jalte Raho, uncle. Probably a reference to my name. Yes, very original. I will, sir. I will keep burning. Right? I will keep burning with joy. No. Burning with passion. Yes, I will keep burning with passion, which will give me a lot of burning joy. But thank you. Yes, Vikata, thank you. Mafi Veer Savarkar. Gaurav, yes. So while I was doing this, I also ended up making a random reel. It's on my Instagram. You can see it later also. About this cat and dog who are having a You can see it. Anyway, वहाँ पे it was related to our topic of the day also. IP is saying congratulations on 30K. Yes, very happy, very happy. IP, who was he? A brave man who genuinely cared about freedom. Who did he become? A defender of a divisive ideology that ultimately contributed to the partition and led to the assassination of the Mahatma. Oh, IP, क्या intro दिया है सर आपने? Very nice. Oh, intro दिया है. Friend आपने. Hey, Tipsy Monk, thank you so much for the memberships. Also, friends, we have a new mod. Tipsy Monk is our new mod. Say hello to our new mod. Congratulations, because apparently that's what you're supposed to say when you become a mod on this channel. Congratulations, Tipsy Monk. Tipsy Monk also designed this thing. Yeah. This is also a sponsored stream, so we are going to talk about our sponsors as well later. Sohit Mishra has today uploaded amazing interview with Raju Parulekar and other journalists discussing EVM credibility. Which reminds me, friends, tomorrow Raju Parulekar is on this channel at 8 p.m. So yeah, be there. Also, if you have any questions for Raju Parulekar, leave it in the comments below. We will be asking them to him tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. So yeah. Also about the Sohit video. I was trying to watch this, but then I got so like into Savarkar. That sounds very wrong. That sounds extremely wrong. I got so deeply invested in Savarkar. That also sounds very wrong. I got so deeply invested in researching the life and times of Savarkar that I had to stop. But I'm going to watch it. Before tomorrow's interview, I'm going to watch that EVM credibility thing that Sohit put out also. Spreading misinfo, stealing credit, and biggest coward when things went wrong. Okay. Yes, I will reserve all those observations to the end, okay? About Savarkar. I've made up a little bit of my mind about Savarkar now. We know that RWA supporters are going to make this movie a blockbuster. Which, the new movie with what's his face, Randeep Hooda. I am going to also play a movie today in the background, which is a 2001 movie. I'll tell you why also. Very much awaited episode. Hey, Tipsy Monk. Hello, thank you again. Who better to talk about Savarkar than Golwalkar's doppelganger? yes. I needed to look more like Golwalkar today. God. But yeah. But funnily enough, Golwalkar and Savarkar also had some nuance difference in their ideologies. Fun. There are many fun things coming your way, Bharadwaj. There are. Nice hillbilly music. Yes. So happy that your video blew up. Thank you so much, Sign Theta. Yeah. Guys, I saw Dune 2 yesterday. Oh my lord, what a movie, what a. Please go watch. What a. Amazing. Proper, like Lord of the Rings feel aa gaya ekdam. Amazing. Chef's kiss. Sudhaji simple MP ban gayi. Yes, Jaren. Sudha Murthy has been nominated by the president in Rajya Sabha. Now, someone made a joke that now Rajya Sabha will be renamed Simple Sabha in her honor. So, she will come there wearing her simple cotton saris. Now it makes me think all that PR was just so that she gets attention and then like gets nominated. I don't know. I have conspiracy theories also. There needs to be a objective of all this PR. I was thinking, what is the objective? And half of my mind was in politics. The other half was, pata nahi, kuch to bhi case वेस hone wala in pe. I don't know. So I was like, let's see what happens. Turns out it's politics. Hey, Shai Halud. Little off the topic, but relating to the National Creator Awards. Feel bad for non-Hindi RW channels. Glad you enjoyed Dune. I was one of the worms. Yes, Shai Halud. Yes. Shai Hulud. Shai Hulud. Yes, another thing that I know you would want to talk about was the Creator Awards. So Modi ji did the first National Creator Awards, and Disruptor Creator of the Year award went to our friend of channel, Beer by. Listen, I call them friend of channel as if I know them. I don't, but it's like I I talk about them, so that's why I call them friend of channel. Not that we are actually working together. Anyway, Beer Biceps is the disruptive creator of the year or something. And then there is Ayyo Shraddha and whatever. But yeah, amazing. Congratulations to Sir Ranveer Alabadia for meeting Prime Minister. Prime Minister ने आपको अवार्ड दे दिया. मजे ही मजे. मेरे को मत पूछो whether he deserves it or not. Okay? Please उधर नहीं जाना है. वो टेरिटरी में नहीं जाना है मुझे. Love from Kashmir. Hey, Mohammad Taskeen. Real? Thank you. I don't know I don't know much about him before BJP came to power. Afreen. Yes. I was in, I'll tell you my state of mind also. There is a memorial dedicated to Savarkar in Dadar, ironically near Chaitya Bhumi. Oh. Beer Biceps tried to get Adarniyaji to like, share, subscribe his YouTube and failed royally. I haven't seen any clips. I was too deep into Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. See, that just sounds wrong. I don't know why I keep saying. Sorry, just. Anyway, without further ado, because there is so much to get through, we shall start with our main story. Main story matlab deep dive into Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Okay, first things first. The reason why I was getting stage fright today was very simple. Whenever you talk about someone like V.D. Savarkar, politics comes in. And politics comes in, matlab emotional politics comes in, where people are like, how dare you call him a traitor? How dare you call him not a traitor? How dare you call him a deshbhakt? How dare you? All the things. You know how that works. So when you pick up topics like this, I was expecting like a huge amount of people to come in and just say, ki, ha, Librandu. So that's why the protective measure of subscribers only. I thought that 10 minute they won't be able to stay and listen to me talk about Savarkar rationally. So that is my safety measure today. Okay, friends? Thank you very much. So chat will be nice and slow, which is okay. So my level of understanding of Savarkar until literally 2 days ago was very limited, honestly. I'll just tell you what all I knew. So I have read an article here, an article there about nothing in particular related to Savarkar. Honestly, I was never really interested in him. But when I was a child, my parents took me to see this 2001 movie, which I thought was in Marathi. Turns out it's a Hindi movie titled Veer Savarkar 2001. And also, that is the movie that I'm going to play in the background today. Because why not, right? Ye wala movie, I'm going to just keep playing it as this is the movie, Veer Savarkar full movie 2001, posted by Sangh Manch. Okay. So if you want to see it, you can see it. It's a 3-hour movie. Very bad quality. But I tried to watch half of it again. Then I gave up. I'm like, no. Just no. Anyway, so this is the movie I saw when I was Bachkan, right? I was like 13, 14 years old. And at the same time, my family environment, because I come from Nagpur, Maharashtra, there would be like random portraits of Savarkar everywhere. In relatives' houses, in restaurants, in like government buildings, wherever. It's just like, Savarkar is a presence, right? So I never really thought about it much until like recently. when Savarkar suddenly became a national figure thanks to the BJP. I mean, I genuinely thought he was localized to Maharashtra until just a decade ago, like a local hero type person. I thought, at least. Then, like his stature improved magnificently. And there are reasons behind it, which we will also talk about. So again, random article here, random article there, didn't really go into him much. So on Wednesday, I said, "Haan, chalo karte hai deep dive." So for the last 2 days, I have spent listening to. I've spent time listening to both opposers and supporters of Savarkar, historians who oppose and support Savarkar, different narratives. Also, people who are debating with each other, which is there was a very good debate that happened on Lallan Top, which I saw between Professor Aditya Mukherjee of JNU, who is a Gandhian, and Vikram Sampath. So he is the one who wrote a two-volume biography on Savarkar. The second one was released recently. And he's been trying to, quote unquote, normalize Savarkar, is what people accuse him of. But I heard him. I heard like 3 interviews by him. I got a lot of facts out of him. And I am going to tell you all about it also. Okay? So I did that. Then I read a bunch of articles from different historians, different people publishing opinions on mercy petitions, on on how V.D. Savarkar was helping the British, etc., etc. Many chapters in his life. Godse, how he got the name Veer, which is a funny story by itself. Then many things, right? The other one that I heard was Shohit Mishra's interview with Niranjan Takle. Now, Niranjan Takle is a person who has 22,000 documents on Savarkar. He has literally gone from place to place and collected originals or photocopied originals and kept them. And he has done extensive research on Savarkar. And some of the things he told in that Shohit Mishra interview were damn amusing. So I have included some of them also. So yeah, that is the level of my information here. That is the level of my information. How much truth is there in the shit claim of RW that Gandhi told him to sign mercy petitions to the Britishers? Thank you for bringing that up, Gaurav, because I was about to bring that up also. Okay. So, let's start with me telling you that history is not definitive. History is interpretation. So, how it works is you go to place, you get old document or letter or whatever record or something. Then you look at it, then you look at another, then you look at another, and then you're like, now let me build a narrative around it based on it, right? That is what history writers do. They take facts and then they put them in a narrative and interpret. Okay. So while Vikram Sampath is interpreting it one way, there are other people who are interpreting it other way. Okay. So that is there. Past can be static. The events that have happened is static, but history is interpretation. Okay. Pure and simple interpretation. What happens though is when history is taken over by political figures and turned into like an emotive issue, which is what is happening with Savarkar right now. When it becomes an emotive issue, people get screwed. Yeah, fights happen for no reason. So we are going to remove that part of it, which is the emotional part of it, as much as we can. Not completely, as much as we can. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to highlight here is that this is the timeline that is in the early 90s. It is from the 1900s till the 1960s. Okay. This was a time without the internet. Okay. So people like Savarkar, people like Gandhi, people like Nehru, people like Ambedkar, many people, they used to write a lot. Like crazy amounts. Like books after books. Letters after letters. In the morning they would get up, they would be like, हाँ चाय पीते हैं, and 10 letter लिखते हैं लंबे लंबे, right? And they would send a letter off to their comrades, they would send a letter off to the British, they would send a letter off to newspapers, then they would write their own articles which will be published in their own newspapers. It was happening all the time, okay? So there is an extensive amount of things that they have said, right? What historians do is they take all of this, find out interesting things and make a narrative out of it, right? Basically, it's like how we do WhatsApp right now. It was letters. So most of the things you will see is because of letters, right? So having said that, there is also a tendency to demonize or deify, either way. Which means is that politicians, what they do is they take all these historical narratives, they're like, okay, now throw emotions into it and turn this person into either a hero or a demon type character, right? And that happens all the time. Gandhi, deified. Nehru, also deified. Savarkar, also deified. Ambedkar, also deified, right? In reality, they are all grey characters, right? Just like me, like you, everyone, right? I mean, right now, if you go through my history, you will find things in grey all the time, right? But 100 years later, when people watch this stream and pick up this one sentence and turn it into their own narrative, I can't help that, honestly. Grey characters, right? There were realities that were there existing in those times, which we cannot even imagine right now. So events that are happening is during a time which we cannot understand, and the actions they took during that time are also things that we cannot truly understand, right? Hey Anurag, thank you so much for the support, sir. Having appreciation of desk Kal Patra on historical figures is much zaruri. अभी तो कोई भी किसी का भी कैरेक्टर असैसिनेट कर देता है, नेहरू, सावरकर, गांधी, मुगल्स एंड इवन रामजी. एग्जैक्टली. सो वी आर गोइंग टू नॉट डू दैट. If you are coming here to see me rant against Savarkar, that is not what is happening. If you are here to see me have a meltdown about Savarkar, that is not what is happening. What we are going to do is we are going to just basically go through his life. I'm going to give you some interesting things that happened in his life, and I'm going to interpret them. Yeah, I'm allowed to interpret them also. You can as well, right? Why not? Why not? Savarkar is a person who I imagine in current times, for example, if you want to imagine Savarkar living in current times, is someone who is basically a columnist. He's a columnist. He's writing for one of these kind of pro-establishment digital publications, right? And he's giving tweets, he's giving speeches, he's doing all of those things, yeah? And he's making a name for himself, right? 100 years later, if someone basically picks that kind of a person up and turns them into a hero, that is Savarkar, okay? He's a side character at best. He was a side character. Very localized side character. If you want to blame historians for not covering him, there are many things you can blame them for. There were movements happening in Tamil Nadu. There were movements happening in Kerala, the independence ke time pe. There were movements happening in Assam. There were different freedom fighters, quote unquote revolutionaries, or people who were fighting the British, dissenters in general, who were all across the board, right? Savarkar maybe didn't really come on their radar as a prominent figure, right? Just didn't happen. It's nobody's fault. It's okay. Now 100 years later, he is getting his due. It's fine, right? The reason why we are being made to talk about him is because the current establishment has turned him into a hero, okay? And then as a backlash, the anti-establishment is also trying to turn him into a demon, as it happens. Cool. So, let's start with the shit show. Okay, and I call this a shit show because this happened a few years ago, where Rajnath Singh went and inaugurated a book And he said Gandhi asked Savarkar to file mercy plea before the British, right? I'm just giving you an example of how the current establishment turns these things into something that is in their favor. Now, you know that this gentleman, which is V.D. Savarkar, was one of those people who is being constantly mocked for giving mercy petitions. Ki, sorry, Veer, sorry, worker. Even this title of this thumbnail, friends, is sorry, Veer, whatever. Yeah, because clickbait. Yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for obeying my clickbait. So he's been assassinated that way, either way, right? Which is like, one is saying that he was freedom fighter, the other is saying he was kept asking for mercy, right? So to remove that dhabba, a half truth was sold to us, which is this, which is Gandhi asked Savarkar to file mercy petition. Fun thing, this is true. But it happened in 1920. Before that, Savarkar had already asked for other mercy petitions, and so did his family members. So Gandhi did in 1920 say that, oh yeah, I will support you. Please give mercy to Savarkar and other fellows. And he pleaded with the British also in Savarkar's favor, right? But at the same time, he didn't go back in time and asked him to file all the other mercy petitions, right? But then half-truths are wonderful. Half-truths can be sold nicely when you want to turn someone into a hero. Amazing, no? How are you making sure that the article you're reading or getting info from isn't biased? Just got a life. Let's just accept history is biased. History is written by the victors. You must have heard this, right? Which is very true. There is one thing that Savarkar has actually said, which I kind of see how that makes sense. Savarkar and friends, they have been going around and essentially they were going around and trying to make the Battle of 1857 the first Indian independent struggle. He's the one who wrote a book on it, which is the Battle of 1857, First Indian Struggle, right? He's the one who said that the only way to fight with your oppressors is through violence, as it happened back then, right? But Gandhi factor, Gandhi's whole, I won't say everybody, but Gandhi, the prominent figure during that time, he's a pacifist. He believes in non-violence. So it is not in their interest to play up 1857 because it was violent. So you can't really use that example and do what you want to do, which is non-violent, right? Again, no right or wrong. Gandhi was a politician, right? So he did what he had to. He made his moves, so did Savarkar, whatever. But in that situation, I can understand why that would be downplayed, right? The battles of 1857, etc., would be downplayed. It's very understandable. So that was one of the biggest sort of criticisms that these people had against Gandhi. One of them, not all of them, one of them. So what happened is that once we got independence, Gandhi was the prominent figure, there was Nehru, there were other people. So that sort of bent of ideology and thinking won, and history is written by the victors, right? So you can see history being written in a particular narration, right? Which is a sign of the times, right? Koi bhi establishment mein aaye, there are historians produced which will do some history interpretation in the favor of the establishment. Then when the establishment changes, there would be another crop of historians which will come in and do the same thing. So it's an ongoing process. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to answer your question, all of these sources are going to be in the description. I will put all of them, right? Wherever I got this information, I will put it. I'm going to give a disclaimer, they're all biased, okay? If you think that during my conversation with you, I have missed out on certain things or you have a better interpretation of it, I would love to hear it out. Comments are genuinely open for criticism, Okay, and I will read them. I will do another episode, another live stream later, and I will keep a segment where people are fact checking me. Cool? Hey Adi, thank you so much for the basic support. Horrible example, Anupam is a known liar and manipulator who bends over backwards for his master. Ab kaun Anupam? I don't know. Anyway. Port Blair Airport was renamed by Vajpayee in 2002. Also, Indira Gandhi issued a stamp in his name in 1970 or something to honor him. Cools. Okay, let's go through his timeline. Okay, so V.D. Savarkar, born in 1883 in Nashik. Nashik, Maharashtra is an interesting place. It is one of the bigger towns, but it is still small. It is now it is a tier 2 city, but as far as I remember, as many times I've gone, not that big. It's smaller than Nagpur. Okay, so he was born there, and he was a Brahmin. He was born a Brahmin. And then he basically grew up. There was like this incident in the middle that happened where when he was 12 years old, he did some Karsevak things, which we will come to later. Then he basically went on to go and study in England. Okay, he went to go study in England. In 1906, he founded the Free India Society to organize Indian students studying in England to fight for independence. Okay, and in one of the speeches that he gave during that time, he said that we want absolute independence. It's a documented speech, right? When he founded it, when he said that we will not rest until we get like total independence. This was in 1906. Now, there was a funny incident I found. Again, it will be in one of the sources. Apparently, while Savarkar was in London, and young lad Gandhi was also there. Savarkar was frying prawns one day, and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi walked in. He was frying prawns, okay, and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi walked in London, and he offered him some prawns, right? And Gandhi is like, no, I'm a vegetarian. And the Savarkar VD, I'm going to call him VD. VD said that he said that he needs to fortify himself with animal protein to fight the battles that they are going to fight. Again, a fun little anecdote I found, which which a historian has said. So yeah, I thought, why not? Fun. Which shows you two things, which is that he ate non-vegetarian. I'll come to that also. His belief systems. It's very interesting. Okay, and in 1909, William Curzon Wiley. मैंने सर हटा दिया because bullshit British names. Williams Curzon Wiley was assassinated, by Madanlal Dhingra. Now, the British at that time suspected that Savarkar is involved, right? They were like known associates type of situation, okay? Then, in 1909, same year, police nabbed Ganesh Savarkar and stumbled upon a stockpile of bombs. Okay. No. Sorry. There was another. Oh, yeah. Okay. So in 1909, so Ganesh Savarkar is his brother. Okay. VD's brother. They stumbled upon a stockpile. He was found with a stockpile of bombs. Okay. Ganesh Savarkar was sentenced to transportation for life. Transportation for life, मुझे वो मतलब नहीं पता, but maybe imprisoned essentially. As revenge, Anand Kanere shot dead AMT Jackson. There was this district magistrate of Nashik. He was watching a play one day, and a dude called Anand Kanere came and shot him dead. Okay. Now the police discovered some letters on him, which were from Savarkar, right? And a pistol. And that pistol apparently was sent by Allegedly, apparently sent by Savarkar. Okay. So assassination 1, suspect is Savarkar. Assassination 2, which happens immediately, Savarkar link is sort of established. Okay. Then the Brits sent a telegram to London, and wahan pe there is an arrest warrant that comes out in the name of Savarkar, and he is arrested in London and charged with conspiring to wage war against the king with providing weapons used to assassinate Jackson. He is sentenced to double sentences, 25, so 50 years in prison. Okay. Pause. This part of the movie was very weird.
तात्या, तिलक जी ने तुम्हें दोपहर को दोबारा बुलाया था, कुछ कहा उन्होंने?
मुझे समझा रहे थे कि जाने से पहले ऐसा कोई काम ना करना कि सरकार तुम्हें जाने से रोक दे।
भाऊजी का किसी को क्या पता कब क्या कर जाए।
लेकिन अब क्या होगा? कल तो यहाँ से निकल ही जाना है।
मैं समझता हूँ कि सरकार मेरे जाने से खुश है। वो समझती होगी कि मुझे लंदन जाकर सद्बुद्धि आ जाएगी।
क्या पता आ ही जाए।
What is happening? What was that?
तिलक जी ने तुम्हें दोपहर को दोबारा बुलाया था।
तो सभी को देखकर बहुत निराशा होगी।
Anyway,
तुम्हारा मन सचमुच में साथ जाने को करता है?
Yeah, no. Anyway, muting. Where was it? It's. Anyway, see, that's why this is playing in the background, no? Anyway, the new movie will be something like this only, okay? So, like, you will get a sample if you watch this. Anyway, facts. Back to facts. Okay, so where were we? Okay, 19010. So transported to arrested in London, and यहाँ पे I think Shweta gave a transportation. Punishment of transportation for life was one of the exile or banishment to an appointed locality for whole of the remainder of the convict's natural life. Oh, okay. Thank you, Shweta. That's transportation. Cool. I have nothing to say, but ain't no way what did I walk into. This is a Savarkar movie from 2001, okay? So, please, respect this movie. He's going to London, see. He's now leaving for London. We have already crossed it in his timeline. Anyway. So, he's arrested in London and charged with war conspiracy for assassinating Jackson and sentenced to 50 years in prison. Okay. So now in 1910, while he was being transported back to India at Marseille, France, the ship stops for a maintenance check or, it had a breakdown, so it stops. Savarkar sir, basically VD, as we call him now, VD jumped out of the ship. So there was this tiny little window which he squeezed out of, and he went like sploosh. And he splooshed for apparently 7 minutes. That's what one scholar has said. So he splooshed for 7 minutes. He tried to swim ashore. And then there were 2 officers who ran after him, swam after him or took a boat after him. I don't know. But there are two sort of versions of this. One is 2 Indian officers who were, who were sent from India to transport him back, were the ones who ran after him or swam after him, caught him, brought him back. And then they gave like massive details of what happened, and they said 7 minutes. Then there was the other version is that there were French authorities just standing on the shore. So he came out and he was arrested. So anyway, he was arrested. In the movie, it is an intense scene. Okay? It is an intense scene. This scene is intense. Let's see. This is not his arrest yet. Yeah. We found it. Yeah, okay. So this intense scene is from the movie.
Open up!
Open up!
What's taking you so long?
What's taking you
I
so
said
long?
open the bloody door! Hurry up, open the door!
Squeezy,
I think
squeezy.
there's something wrong. What?
So there is I mean, he's
The
doing
problem.
it in a bathroom, but again, there is a version which is basically that he was not in a bathroom. He was like, there's a porthole that he jumped out of. Again, I am not sure what a porthole is, but he did jump out of the ship. I don't know how he did it, but he did. And he is naked. Yeah, that was another thing. He was apparently half at least. And then he swam, 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 and then there were people. This shootout probably didn't happen. Okay, he was just swimming, swimming, swimming. There were not like many soldiers. Just two people who were going after him. So he comes up. Okay, comes up, and oh no, this also I don't know how this detail was added, but boat apparently reached there before he came out and dun 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 arrested again. Oh no, he's running. Go, Savarkar. No, Savarkar, you're being historically inaccurate, Savarkar. ऐसे मत करो. What is this, yeah? Like you came out and you like. Anyway, you get the idea, right? ये बहुत dramatic है, चलता रहता है, काफी time चलता है. Okay, so anyway, we will continue the movie from there now. Back to facts. Back to facts. Friends, facts are what matters, okay? So, in between 1911 and 1913, when he was in jail, he was basically sent to Andamans. He was sent to the cellular jail, right? And I have not been to Andamans. I asked a few people who have been to Andamans, and they told me that the cellular jail is patently horrifying. Like, it is extremely depressing. It is extremely solitary, and it can break you. Basically, it's like, what was that place in Harry Potter where Sirius Black was kept full of dementors? Azkaban. It is basically our version of Azkaban. Okay, imagine that. It is bad. It is bad. Gaurav said he saw cellular jail 2 times in his life, but yeah, it is kind of bad. Okay, so yeah. So essentially what happened is that he was in jail and in horrifying conditions. He was put in solitary confinement and tortured, and he was flogged, and he was made to work in one of those oil mills, which is essentially one of those things, like, you know how bullocks go round and round and there is this thing that crushes peanuts and coconuts and makes oil? That one. Instead, humans. Okay, so he was made to do that. That was extremely horrifying, and he was tortured while that was happening. So he broke. Yeah, I mean, theek hai yaar, he broke. And he started filing mercy petitions, right? We will come to the mercy petitions later, right? I will tell you more about the mercy petitions because that is one of the controversial things about him. Okay, right now I'm just giving you facts. There is another interpretation of this, another version of this, which was given by Niranjan Takle, that he went to Andamans and he found the prison records. And he claims that initially they tried to make him work on those things, but then he was not able to push it. So they removed him from that and asked him to make ropes, like coconut, like, it's ground and then turned into ropes. He was supposed to do that. And then a few months later, he was turned into a supervisor who was looking at the work that is being happening on the floor. That is what Niranjan Takle says. Cool? So in the petition, he says, I'm your obedient servant, etc. You have read a few of those. I will come to that. I will come to that. Okay, so in 1913, Craddock is this officer who met VD and he says, if government releases me, I will be the most loyal servant of the British government. This is an actual meeting that he did with Cradock. Cradock later wrote in his diary. 1917, Savarkar gives another mercy petition, asks for general amnesty for all political prisoners, right? Gandhi advised younger brother. So in 1920 is when the younger brother of VD, he went to Gandhi and he pleaded with him, please help us get VD out. And Gandhi said, okay, I will help you. I will lend my voice. And he suggested that they should send a mercy petition. This was actually a time when Gandhi did advise them to send a mercy petition. Okay. Released from, so in 1921, he's released from Andaman Cellular Jail. Some claim that was done because Gandhi pushed for it. Some claim that it was done because of some other events that might have happened. Again, why it happened, why the British changed their minds, again, interpretation, right? So he was released from cellular jail and transferred to Yerwada jail in Pune, right? Now in Yerwada jail, it was a more comfortable sort of a situation there than Kalapani, which is Andaman Cellular Jail, as they are showing it. Look, Andaman Cellular Jail, they will show you all the things that happened. And of course, there is the typical...
अगर तुमने यहाँ से भागने की कोशिश की ना, तो ये सारे लोग जानते हैं कि हर रोज न जाने कितने कीड़े मकोड़े मेरे इन जूतों के नीचे कुचले जाते हैं, समझे?
तुम साला गुलाम लोग मेरे जूती के नीचे ही रहेगा, probably came from here, friends. We have discovered the origins of...
Let me tell you something, Mr. Barrister.
Tom Alter.
अगर तुमने यहाँ से भागने की कोशिश की ना,
being Tom Alter.
तो ये सारे लोग जानते हैं कि हर रोज न जाने कितने कीड़े मकोड़े मेरे इन जूतों के नीचे कुचले जाते हैं,
युप,
समझे?
मगर मैं
So, Savarkar was in cellular jail, then he was sent to Yerwada. Okay. Now, here is when he started writing like crazy. There is another thing that is spoken about Savarkar is that there was limited access to paper when he was in cellular jail. So, he used to write on the walls. Now, that is kind of disputed a little bit. So, I'm not really sure whether he did that or not. But okay, let's assume he was writing on the walls. It's okay. He was going a little crazy, I think. He was going a little insane. And again, I repeat, it was in Azkaban. So, it's okay. People can go nuts and they get flogged like this, right? They do. And there was a lot of torture that was happening. Even seeing people get flogged is kind of traumatizing. Sympathize. So, so he published a book called Hindutva. He wrote it in a pen name, apparently, called Ek Maratha. He wrote about the two-nation theory and people whose Pitru Bhumi and Punya Bhumi is Bharat are the real citizens, right? We will come to that. This is where he's forming his definition of what Hindutva is, right? This happened in Yerwada jail. Now, in 1924, he was released from Yerwada. He signed an agreement with the British that he will not participate in politics or freedom movement for 5 years, which was eventually extended to 13 years. Okay. He was given a bungalow in Ratnagiri where he was practically under house arrest, right? He was allowed to meet people, etc. And then there is another fun fact about that, which I will come to later. When the facts come, they will come very fast. Okay, so remember this timeline. In 1929, Nathuram Godse and Gopal Godse met Savarkar in Ratnagiri. Now, Nathuram Godse, we know who he is. So, he met him in Ratnagiri. He has claimed that VD was like his guru. He called him Tatya. He was his guru. He was very close to him. Gopal Godse later revealed that they were in daily personal contact during this time. This will become important much later. Okay. This one fact, remember this fact. Now, in 1931, V.B. Godse fired 2 shots at the acting governor of Bombay, Sir Ernst Hodgson, during his visit to Fergusson College in Pune. Hodgson survived. It was later revealed that Godse had been a staunch Savarkarite and had met him days before the assassination. Dun dun dun. I mean, it was alleged. Matlab later revealed, much later revealed. Okay, so not like immediately revealed apparently. Now, the provincial government in Mumbai, led by Congress, released him from house arrest in 1936. This is important. Like a government led by Congress actually released him in 1936. I thought it was important. Anyway, he went over to lead the Hindu Mahasabha. He went on to go to the big OG organization called Hindu Mahasabha. In 1937, Ratnagiri confinement ended. He was released by the Bombay Presidency government, right? In 1937, the two-nation theory was floated by Savarkar at a convention of the Hindu Mahasabha and was later picked up by Muhammad Ali Jinnah in 1940. Again, this part later picked up by Muhammad Ali Jinnah in 1940. I'm not sure if I was able to establish a direct connection, but Muhammad Ali Jinnah was actually talking about the same things that Savarkar was talking about, which is the two-nation theory. Okay, in 1939, something interesting happened where Subhash Chandra Bose comes to meet VD and apparently is hurt for some reason. He was supposed to give a speech on that day. He met Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, and then suddenly he changed his mind and he came out saying, I have been very hurt. Later, it was revealed that, again, by one historian, one interpretation, later it was revealed that Savarkar basically refused to essentially side with him and the freedom struggle when it was brought up to him. And Bose came out and he said some strange things to him, apparently. Again, complete interpretation. I have no idea. You can dig deep in this, huh? Chat, comments. Please find this. I have not been able to find a proper source for this. That's why I just left it at Bose came to meet VD. Okay, and an event was cancelled as a result. Or anyway, 1940. Hindu militarization boards. This is basically he started a recruitment board for the British during World War II. Savarkar asked Hindus to stay active in war effort and not disobey the government. He wanted Hindus to enlist and learn the art of war, right? So essentially World War II had started and V.D. Savarkar had a reason that Hindus need to learn how to fight, therefore enlist in the army and help the British. Before you start judging him for that, Gandhiji had done similar things in World War I. He was also helping the Brits recruit soldiers for themselves in World War I also. Okay, just throwing it in there. Just throwing it in there. Okay. Bose, okay. So David is saying Bose ji met Savarkar and Muhammad Ali Jinnah to try and change their opinions on separation. Right. So that was what he was meeting him for. Again, I'm a little hazy on the details. So David, please do leave a comment later if you find a proper source. Art of war like Sun Tzu, something like that. I mean, he wanted them to be trained. So this is the device I was talking about, right? You can see it on your screens now. We have reached that part of the movie. Our facts are going faster than the narrative. मेरी गलती नहीं है. Okay, fell down and लंबा scene है ये बहुत. Do you want to come to where our facts are meeting the movie? Let's see. Where is this? There's an awfully long time when he when they focus on his cellular jail sort of confinement thingy. So they have like a lot of narrative things happening in this movie. Okay, like he starts a protest and he does a lot of things. I have some facts about that also, which I will come to later. So then in 1942. He allied with the Muslim League and formed a government to support the British. That happened. In 1942, Quit India movement started, and Hindu Mahasabha actually helped the British quell it a little bit, or they were not actively siding with the people who were doing the Quit India movement. And V.D. Savarkar was playing a role in keeping away. Essentially, his argument was that you focus on your work. The work at that time was learning the art of war, which is basically go and fight the battles that the Brits are fighting. Ignore everything that is happening here, because we have to lead a bigger revolution after Quit India movement, something on those lines. Okay. Then 1945, Hindu Mahasabha came up with the constitution, with a constitution in 1945. Hindu Mahasabha actually came up with a constitution in 1945, and this was actually acknowledged later in the Constituent Assembly debates when our constitution was made. And one historian, which is Vikram Sampath, he claims, he said, not claims, he has done research on this, that in the Constituent Assembly debates, they said that the Hindu Mahasabha constitution was actually close to the one that they were proposing also. Some of the things were also there. There are more details on that, which I will come to. VD was not invited to join the Constituent Assembly debates in 1947 after independence. This is important because apparently everybody who was prominent and important was called as to be a part of the Constituent Assembly debates, even people who were not in the Congress. Ambedkar was not in the Congress, he was called. There were a bunch of right-leaning ideologues who were also called for the Constituent Assembly debates. V.D. Savarkar wasn't for some reason. And this is where my interpretation of him being a columnist comes from, essentially. Guy thinks, guy writes, guy does a lot of things, so that's great. But is he worthy of joining the Constituent Assembly debates? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. 1948, of course, the assassination of Gandhi by Nathuram Godse, and the Red Fort trials start. This is where that famous photo comes from, which is him sitting in the background while Godse is coming in. Wait, I had that photo opened somewhere. I'll wait. Where is the one with the Savarkars? This is the one with the Savarkars. Open in a new tab. Yeah, this one. So this is the photo. Famous photo, which is basically, this is our friend VD. This is Godse. Yeah. So famous photo, very famous. You must have seen it. There are some details that came out from the trial also, which were very interesting actually, about how he behaved, which I will come to. Again, those are like random facts. Okay, 1948, Red Fort trials begin. Then, he was actually accused, but then he was also released. So there was no evidence found against Savarkar on the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi and linking him to the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. So usko baizzat bari kar diya. Okay. In 1965, interestingly enough, two people who were accused and two witnesses came forward, which started saying that Savarkar was very, very much deeply involved in this conspiracy. And that caused much outrage during that time. The government basically set up a J.L. Kapoor Commission, which is this retired judge. They set up the J.L. Kapoor Commission of Inquiry. And they were supposed to find out if there is a larger conspiracy in the assassination of M.K. Gandhi. Okay. And in 1966, like a few months later, Savarkar decides to not have food and water. And basically, he does an Atmarpan, which means he stops having food and water. After 20 days, he dies. That's the story. That's the timeline. That's the timeline. Some people are talking to Vikram. Is this Vikram Sampath you're talking to? And why can't I see Vikram Sampath if he's here? Or is this my friend Vikram who you're talking to? And why can't I see Vikram? Anyway. But yeah, friends, so we are done with the timeline. Timeline is done. Timeline. Did you enjoy timeline? Chat, if you enjoyed timeline, say hi. Say hi. I really need the validation to go on because the next set of things are hard. Hey, validation. I like the validation. Yes, yes. Loving the validation. Loving the validation. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Five Nights at Freddy's type beat. Yeah. Love it. Love it. I'm glad. We can do this, friends. We can get through this. As I said, बहुत stage fright हो रहा था मुझे ये करने के लिए. It is very tricky, as you can see. But yeah, I'm rather enjoying myself as well. Yes, friends. I am as well. So I'm glad you are as well. Chalo. Kale Chips loves me. Thank you so much, Kale Chips. Gaurav really enjoys it, it seems. Hi, बोल रहा है वो. Cadbury or Nestle? Neither. Ha ha ha. You have lawyers, right? No. Oh, Vikram said Godse was hot. This is if you don't know, this might be my friend Vikram, who likes to basically be annoying. I told him I'm doing like a stream on Savarkar, so he must have arrived on time. And he must be like, what will I do here? The reason is I also called him. He has a history background also. I called him and then I was asking him things about Savarkar and all. He gave me a lot of sourcing and all the things. So shout out to Vikram as well. And now he's trolling you. What is this? Yeah. Vikram, shut up, man. If this is the Vikram I know. I can't even see you. See, even YouTube hates you, Vikram. Useless. मेरे चैट को तू अनॉय मत कर. Why British colonialism bad, but Mughals and Arab colonialism was not seen as wrong in India? Killa, it was wrong also. Okay? Yes. अब मैं क्या जा रहा है बोलने के लिए? All of it was wrong. All of it. When there was an oppressor who was oppressing us, all the oppressors were wrong. Screw the oppressors. Anti-establishment FTW. If we were born 100 years ago, we would still be like, screw these British. If we were born before that, we would be like, screw these Mughals. If we were born before that, we'd like, screw the princely kings. Or before that, screw that guy who owns the biggest cave in the village and now calls the shots. Yeah, club him to death. Yeah, that's... That's such an Islamophobic statement. Why? What? कुछ भी. अच्छा, राहुल भी वही कर रहा है जो विक्रम कर रहा है. I see many people on the left give apologetics for the Mughals and what they did. A lot of whitewashing happens. Killa, I'm not one of those people. I don't care. Am I not allowed to not care? I care about Savarkar today, okay? For the last 2 days, I've been caring about Savarkar. Will I care about him tomorrow? I have no clue. This is limited time caring offer, okay? If you want me to do like a deep dive on Shah Jahan or something, I'll start caring about them also then, okay? Is that fair? Let's go. I think this is fine. I think this approach is fine in life. क्यों होना है इमोशनली इन्वेस्ट, क्यों डिफेंड करना है फालतू में किसी को भी? पीपल हु लिव्ड लाइक 400-500 years ago, why should I give a shit? I mean, learn from history and all, great. I will look at them with amusement. They make excellent stories. So yeah, now we have a Savarkar with a mustache, which apparently happened sometime after he came out of jail and he was sporting a mustache. So facts in the movie, facts. Okay, so let's go with the fascinating facts. So about the petitions, right? So Savarkar, he gave 6 mercy petitions. 3 additional ones were by his wife, 3 by his sister-in-law, and 3 by both of his brothers combined on his behalf. Okay. Now, the thing with these petitions is that they had a template. Let's just put it that way. Imagine this. Okay, so you are in Azkaban, as we call it, cellular jail. You are being tortured constantly. You are looking at people being tortured constantly, and after a point, you freaking breaks, right? And that happens sometimes. So there is an oppressor who has put you in jail. So when you write a letter to them asking for mercy, what do? You are like, oh, I will be your most obedient servant. I am going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to prostrate before you. Please let me go. Please let me go. Okay. 1. So there were other people also who have written similar petitions with similar languages during that time. Freedom fighters and political prisoners, etc. Now, that is the counter to that. The thing that he was writing was a template. Everybody did it. Okay. That is one of the counters. Now, obedient servant. So this obedient servant line was apparently a part of the petition template. Another thing that they said was that not calling him V.D. Savarkar was one of the people who was educated in that jail. He went to London, he was educated. So he was also writing petitions for other people. So he might have written petitions similarly for other people during that time. People who were illiterate, people who couldn't do their own thing. So he was helping them out also. Okay. Who gave him the Veer title? I will come to that. There is an interesting story there also. I have no clue what is happening in the movie at this point of time. Okay. Okay, this is a fact I found also. In November 14th, 1913, which is 4 days after demonetization minus, I don't know, 92 years, I guess. Anyway, sorry, I'm bad at math. Seeking mercy and requesting transfer to the jail in India. He wrote, quote, "The mighty alone can afford to be merciful, and therefore where else can the prodigal son return but to the parental doors of the government?" Parental doors of the... In return, Savarkar offered to serve the government in any capacity as it thought fit. He declared he no longer believed in violence, justifying his conversion to constitutionalism because of reforms the British government had introduced. Right? Okay. Now, this being facts, there is some interpretation I have to give you. So, one of the things that people keep saying is that, oh, but he wrote petitions, but, people like Bhagat Singh and people like Gandhi. So Gandhi, when he was charged with sedition, he said, oh, I'm so proud, give me the highest possible punishment because freaking dissent, Mahatma Gandhi being dissent king. So he's basically like, it's okay guys, give punishment. Bhagat Singh never apologized and he was ultimately hanged. So, therefore, people compare that with Savarkar, which is Gaz, Savarkar gave mercy petitions. These guys never did. There is a time period where this happens. I feel like in the end years of the independence struggle after World War II and that period especially, when all these things happened, basically the fervor must have been more. And this was in 1913. Again, this is again an interpretation. I don't know. Just an interpretation. Hey, thank you so much for the support, animation. Had India been different and more harmonious if Dara Sikho had become the ruler of India? यार मुझे ये सब मत पूछो animation. Like we're talking about the facts I have and the interpretation I have. I have no idea, boss. ये ऐसे मेरे से मत बुलवाओ कुछ भी. Anyway, find your own answer, animation. Find it. You're allowed to interpret also. Okay. Find facts, make a sheet like this that I'm doing, and throw facts around everywhere. Okay, so that's one. The other thing about mercy petitions is that the British basically arrested Savarkar because he was a conspirator, co-conspirator in an assassination. So he was a murder trial criminal. They had tagged him in D category prisoners, right, which is dangerous category prisoners, which means that he was not technically a political prisoner. So, in a way, what people also say is that the others, they were asking for mercy when they were political prisoners, but this guy was actually a criminal in their eyes and also of dangerous category. So, therefore, he was asking for petitions, which is maybe a different standard. But also, people also point out that he was not released. He sent petitions after petitions. There was a time when someone had written that V.D. Savarkar helped him write a petition. I forget the name of that person who was also in cellular jail. He got mercy. He was released, but the Savarkar brothers were still in jail, right? So they did not release him also because they thought he's dangerous. Yes, he had shown some. I will tell you why they thought he was dangerous also. Okay, he has a very, very interesting sort of history also that way. Okay. Now let's come to Gandhi. Now the other thing is, people keep pointing this out that VD and Gandhi really didn't get along, which is very true. Okay. So Gandhi and friends were, as I said, Gandhi and when I say friends, Gandhi and his people who had the same thought and ideology, they were trying to promote a pacifist narrative. So it is possible that they tried to downplay the 1857 struggle and bloodshed. And VD was specifically inspired by that struggle and wrote his first book on it. And that is actually very important because he was the one who wrote about the 1857 struggle because he was extremely inspired by it. And that is where he probably got the idea that the only way to throw the oppressors away is through violence, through a revolution. Hey, Mr. Chicken, thank you so much for the support. Friends, if you are enjoying this stream, please do consider supporting it and liking it and sharing it with people. We're having chill times. Interesting fact, M.K. Gandhi was in jail with Savarkar in Yerwada, but they never met. Ooh. I don't know. It's just something that I read. I was like, okay, dal dete. They never met. It is a claim. Oh no, sorry. Everybody's claiming the membership. Freaking. I was like, मुझे बोल रहे हो कि this is a claim. I know it's a claim. Anyway. They were not roommates. No Rangappa. Apparently they weren't. So, M.K. Gandhi, okay, two brothers do not, so M.K. Gandhi had said this, Two brothers do not desire independence. To the contrary, they feel like India's destiny can be worked out by giving cooperation to the British. And that might have pissed people off, especially the two brothers he was mentioning, which is VD and brother VD. VD was a. Oh, this is very interesting, okay? So, Nathuram Godse was the editor of a newspaper called Agrani, right? VD was a shareholder in the newspaper, which was kind of like the OP India of that times. It was, they had published a cartoon with Gandhi as one of the Ravan's 10 heads. Gandhi, Ambedkar, all these freedom fighters. And they were writing some very interesting articles about these people, okay? ये क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे गांधी दिख रहे क्या अरे क्या भाई मूवी यू हैव डन इट अ मूवी यू हैव रीच्ड
मुझे आशा है हम फिर मिलेंगे और बातें करेंगे
व्हाट इज हैपनिंग व्हाट इज हैपनिंग क्या हो रहा है म्यूजिक
क्षमा कीजिएगा तात्याराव
हाँ हाँ
Oh, Savarkar ही है. Oh, that is why he started wearing a cap.
मुझे
Yes,
आपकी
because he was
तलाशी लेनी है.
balding.
जो करना है कीजिए हमारे लिए तो ये हर दिन की बात हो गई है और आपके लिए भी
मुझे खेद है मैं आप लोगों की असुविधा का कारण बन रहा हूं
ऐसी कोई बात नहीं परंतु क्या मैं जान सकता हूं कि आज की तलाशी किस बात के लिए है
तात्याराव आप जो भी करते हैं उसकी खबर दिल्ली तक
Okay. So ये दिल्ली में जाने दो इनको. We will go back to our facts. Okay, so as I was saying, VD was a shareholder in a newspaper called Agrani, and apparently he was a big shareholder, and which was, according to me, the OP India of that time. Cartoon was published. So he called Gandhi a sissy and far too willing to collaborate with Britain. No, literally, like Savarkar said that Gandhi was a sissy and that he was far too willing to collaborate with Britain, especially when it comes to partition, etc. Gandhian talk of man's common humanity he regarded as utopian to the point of naivety. Okay. In articles from 1920 to 1940s, Savarkar lambasted Gandhi as a crazy lunatic who happens to babble about compassion and forgiveness. Yet, notwithstanding his sublime and broad heart, the Mahatma has a very narrow and immature head. Bhai, shots fired. VD was shots fired here, okay? VD was one of those people. Okay. Gandhi chapter done. Now let's go to the Godse chapter. Oh, यहाँ पे बहुत है यहाँ पे. Okay. So, friends, as you know, Nathuram Godse, fellow who assassinated MK Gandhi long back. Long back. So, Nathuram Godse and VD Savarkar were partners. Allegedly, Nathuram Godse and VD Savarkar were partners. Anyway, there was a book written called Freedom at Midnight, right? Where there was a chapter called Two Brahmins from Maharashtra, which gave some details about their partnership. And that was banned. In India, you won't get it. Apparently, the circulated copies doesn't have this particular chapter for some reason. I don't know. I haven't read it. This was a claim made by a historian and a scholar. So I don't know. I'm just giving you facts. So P.L. Inamdar, he was a lawyer in the Godse's trial, right? He wrote a book later saying that VD was asking him constantly what will happen to. So the story here is that during the Godse trial, which is the Red Fort trials that happened. P.L. Inamdar was Savarkar's lawyer. So he met him for 3 hours to get his side of things, etc. And apparently he wrote in a book saying that VD was just constantly asking him कि मेरा क्या होगा इसमें. He didn't care about what will happen to others. He was just asking. He was very obsessed with what will happen to me. And this is apparently a pattern with VD. Again, there are some facts idhar udhar which people say points to a pattern, which is when it comes to actually getting hands dirty, VD tends to like be in the background. Have you guys seen Game of Thrones, friends? You have seen Game of Thrones, right? There is this character called Littlefinger. VD, something like that. He's a strategist. He's a brain. He's like, I will brain this out. I will brain so much and I will inspire and brain. But then when the dirty work is done, where all these people go and assassinate, oppose, do violence, etc., Savarkar is like, not my brain. Not my brain. So basically, chaos is a ladder type of guy. Yes, exactly. That's how I was looking at him. Like while I was reading this, I was like, Hack Baba, yeah, that's true. He's a chaos is a ladder type person, which is like, let us disrupt the British one brick at a time. Like, like, tuch, isko maro, ye officer ko maro, wo officer ko maro. Do this, do that. So, bit by bit, like, chip at their armor. Mr. Chicken is being very generous today. Thank you so much, Mr. Chicken. I'm very, very appreciative of your generosity today. Murder of Mahatma. Okay. This is the Justice Khosla. He wrote a book. I think this is from there. Godse said that he was extremely hurt during the entire trial. Tatya Rao didn't even look at him once. So this came out in a book by Justice Khosla, who was doing the Simla trial court judge. So there were like 2 cases. One was at the Red Fort and one was the Simla trial. So wahan pe he was the justice. He later wrote in a book that apparently Godse was very sad. He was crying in jail once he was sentenced, and he was very distressed, and he was looking for signs of affection from Tatya, which is VD. He called him Tatya out of respect and pyar. Okay. So out of respect, he called him Tatya. And basically, he was looking for some sort of, like support from him. And what Justice Khosla wrote is that he was not even looking at him. So remember when I showed you the photo? Yeah. Apparently, he was just sitting like this, which is he was not looking at anyone. He was not making eye contact. And he was very, very worried about what will happen to him and whether he will be connected with this. So Godse was looking for some sort of support, but he didn't get any. That's again, it's a stuff of legends, friends, stuff of legends. Okay, so after VD's death, AP Kesar and GV Damle, 2 people came forward as witnesses, and they said that he was very deeply involved in MK Gandhi's assassination. And he said 3 legendary lines, which is Yashasvi Honya. Okay, and I'll tell you when that happened. So then they set up the Kapoor Commission, and then, wait, thoda timeline mix up ho raha hai friends yahan pe, I think, because Kapoor Commission was set up. Fact check करना मुझे इस पे, हाँ थोड़ा सा I think I am also like a little confused. Kapoor Commission was set up and then he passed away. Oh no, I think these witnesses are the ones who came to the Kapoor Commission when it was set up. By that time, VD had passed away after starving himself for 20 days. And then after that, the Kapoor Commission was sitting there, and these 2 people came up and they said that he was deeply involved. But then the Kapoor Commission still held that he was not involved. L.B. Bhopatkar, who is Savarkar's lawyer, he met Ambedkar. He participated in the trial proceedings. ये मैंने क्यों लिखा था यहाँ पे? There was a story associated with it. I forgot. Shit. Anyway. Justice Bobde Commission. So there was a commission set up in March 2018 under Justice Bobde, who also said that Savarkar was not involved in the assassination. There was a researcher put there, and they looked through all the letters and everything, and they gave him a clean chit again, Savarkar ko. Because why not? Another one. Clean chit. Okay. So, on the day of the assassination, some interesting things were happening. Before the assassination, there was another attempt made on Gandhi. So there were a total of 2 assassination attempts that were made on Gandhi. Okay. There are 2 attempts made on Gandhi in January 1948. The first was made on January 20th. Okay. And it was a botched up affair for which a Punjabi refugee Madan Lal Pahwa was arrested. Some witnesses later said that this refugee went to meet Savarkar and was with him for quote-unquote training for a while. Again, witnesses, etc., sources say. Anyway, the second attempt was successful. Nathuram Godse shot Gandhi dead on January 30th, 1948. Right? So, Digambar Badge, he was one of the people who was accused in the trials. He turned approver later, and he revealed that there were 2 meetings before the assassination attempt, before the first one, which is the 20th, right? And in the second one, Badge heard. So first, Godse and Apte both walk into where Savarkar is living. They go up to the second floor. They come down, and then in a next room, again, Badge claims Savarkar came down, and before they left, he told them Yashasvi Honya, which means be successful and return. Now, this is extremely flimsy evidence, clearly, which is not exactly proof of his involvement in the assassination anyway. So, just putting it out there, thoda flimsy hai वैसे ये association, honestly. I mean, from the surface of it only. But Godse throughout has maintained that Savarkar was not involved. Godse has throughout maintained that Savarkar was not involved in the plot. He also said that it is a guru-shishya relationship that they had, which is like if you follow a religious leader, then their followers, if their followers commit a crime, will you hold the guru responsible? That is the argument that they played up, and apparently that worked. So, yeah. The facts that came out later was one of the most important ones was that VD and Godse were in constant touch in Ratnagiri when he was first released for years after that. So that is one of the facts that came out later. So some say that it might be more than a guru-shishya relationship. It might be friendship. BFFs. Okay, that's done. Godse is done. Now there are some assorted facts. There are a lot of assorted facts. Do you want assorted facts, chat? Say hi. Otherwise, I will not. Because बहुत assorted facts है मेरे पास. Yes. Okay. I will give you assorted facts, but before I do that, I have to do something else. Just let me. Wait for assorted facts, okay? Because the name thing is coming. The where did the Veer come from is coming. But before that, I would like to give you a message from my sponsors. Yes, this is the top of the hour sponsorship message. And I hope you help this stream by helping them. So yeah, today's sponsor is Engineer Mantra. Yes. There is a wonderful video they provided to me this time, which is basically a project, a shopping complex that they are currently working on, which is in Kanatal, Tehri, Garhwal. So I'm going to play it in the background. So if you are someone who is in your 30s and planning to build a house, or if your parents are retiring and looking to build one, and if you are looking for people who can help you design it, then today's sponsor will be very, very useful for you. So say hello to Engineer Mantra. They are a group of engineers and experts who are dedicated to raising living standards and quality of life. They are based in Dehradun, but they are open to taking projects all across the country, right? And they are talented folks who design houses and commercial buildings both. What you're looking at is one of the projects that they are currently designing. Yeah. I thought it was very pretty because also it is mountains and I love the mountains. Thank you, Engineer Mantra. No, I genuinely mean it. I love the mountains. Anyway, Engineer Mantra do everything from floor planning, structural design, mechanical, electrical, plumbing design, and 3D elevation and interior walkthroughs. They also do soil and concrete testing to check stability of old buildings. The good folks at Engineer Mantra, they believe that if you are going to build a house, it is going to be made for life. So they put in extra love and extra care to design them beautifully and make them super functional. And they're open to taking bizarre ideas from clients as well. Yes. So go check out their website, engineermantra.com. I will leave a link below in the description. Please support them to support this stream. And if you are if you want a design for something that you want to get done, you know where to go. No, you won't have to go there. I think they do emails also and maybe like Zoom calls. But yeah, you get the idea. Thank you. That was the sponsor message. If you are a small business who is looking for small visibility through my small stream, please do reach out. I take like sponsorships and I do top of the hour ad reads like these. So yeah, thank you so much, Engineer Mantra, for sponsoring this stream. Much appreciated, sir. You and me, much appreciated, friends. You and me, we start revolution, Engineer Mantra. We do. Oh, back to Savarkar. This is ending, so let's go somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Are you married? Yes. Engineer Mantra, thanks for supporting a sensible political channel. Genuinely. Listen to Bharadwaj. Genuinely. Oh, I need to remove this one. Place the sponsor link in the description. Oh yeah, I will. After the stream ends, I will. But till then, Shweta has given the link. I'ma pin it. Perfect climate to lay my eggs, Mr. Chicken, who has been just giving out memberships like crazy. Beaches or mountains? Mountains. Droggy. Mountains. I'm a mountain person. Do you allow blasphemous art? No animation. I mean, I will allow it, but then the powers that be will screw me over. So I can't allow it. I cannot. Like, I am a very free-thinking individual and all. Very nerdy, as you know. But the powers that be, क्या कर सकते हैं, no? क्या कर सकते हैं? The life we live, the times we live. Looks good, but not an architect, but would love to see Indians add Indian touches to buildings like Goth period in Europe. Killa. So, Engineer Mantra, that's a suggestion for you from Killa. PDP, yes, I have a sponsorship, friend. I do. Thank you, Pradhan. Yes. Savarkar endorses violence. Mahatma Gandhi preferred ahimsa, but not if it came from a place of cowardice. क्या हो गया? बाहर है. Just a second, friendos. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for assorted facts? I think assorted facts, and then we will do like a members chat after that. This is a long one. I told you it is a very, very deep dive. A very deep dive. Assorted facts. Okay. So, the title Veer Savarkar, where did it come from? So, VD is said to have given himself the title Swatantra Veer or Veer by writing a book about himself under a pen name. Interesting. So, after Savarkar was released from prison in 1926, his noble character, right, the life of Veer Savarkar, first appeared in the market. Many versions of the book were published. Years later, it was revealed that the original author Chitragupta was none other than Savarkar himself. So Savarkar wrote a book about Savarkar where he called him Veer. Mad legend making skills this man has. Planting legends only. Amazing. There is another thing. Apparently, after he was released from jail, Savarkar got a pension of 60 rupees, which was very big during that time. And it was more than the district collector's salary. And Savarkar used the money to run a money lending business. And he started printing his own promissory notes. So the British actually raided him once. Like unke time ka jo ED tha na, that raided Savarkar for printing his own promissory notes apparently. I'm like very amused. Random facts. I love random facts. Sardar Patel is once heard saying, fanatical wing under Savarkar that did the assassination. So even Sardar Patel in February 1949 had accused that a fanatical wing under Savarkar was the one that did the assassination of MK Gandhi. Okay. Random fact, Shripant Dange, CPI founder, he also wrote a petition to the British and used similar language that our current friend VD did. So, as I said, there is an interpretation. One of the interpretations is that VD used to make ropes in jail and did not work at the oil grinder. In movies, etc., they focus on the oil grinder part of things, never on the rope thing. But yeah, apparently. Oh wait, is he making the rope now? Wait. Oh yeah, he is. Hey, he does make rope. I got fact checked by the movie friends. I did. See, he's making ropes now. Nariyal and beating. What's happening?
Do you understand? You are all sinners. God has sent me here to punish you. Do you understand? God has sent me here to punish you.
अरे भैया क्या हो गया भाई, इतना क्यों गुस्सा है ये?
उसको जबरदस्त सजा दी जाए. Do you understand? काम करो. तुम काम नहीं करते हो क्या?
अरे भाई उसका
काम करो मिलता है इनसे.
अरे भाई उसका वो उसने did you see what an idiot dude. Like काम करो बोल रहा है, he is doing his work and he kicks his thing off. कैसे काम करेगा?
काम कराओ और जिसने 2 बार से खबर
What nonsense?
क्या देख रहे हो? मिर्जा मिर्जा कहाँ रह गए तुम? मिर्जा मिर्जा कहाँ मर गए
मिर्जा
तुम?
कहाँ रह गए? मिर्जा कहाँ रह गए? Wait,
मैं
why
अपना
is he sitting separately and doing this? Why is he not in the Kam Karo line? Anyway, so they show him. Yes, I got fact checked, friends. Fact check. But yeah, so that is one thing. VD was an underground operator after being released from jail because assassinations after that. British were suspicious of him and kept extending his ban from politics. So first, when he was released, he was asked for a ban from politics for 5 years, which was later extended by 2 years, 2 years, 2 years until it went on till 13 years. And one of the reasons they say is that Savarkar was again a D category, but also he was a troublemaker. He was a troublemaker, and he essentially also like promised to help the British. I will stand in the last line of patriots rather than with the first line of traitors. That is something that Savarkar had randomly said. There are many interpretations of this. Some people say that this line was said because he was saying that the people like Gandhi and people were traitors and he's the patriot, so he's going to stand in the back of the line. Some people are saying that the interpretation is completely wrong, so I'm just throwing the statement out there. Okay? Statement, just low. Hridaynath Mangeshkar and his family, which is Lata Mangeshkar, Asha Mangeshkar, all these people, were big fans of Savarkar. Yeah. He used to read V.D. Savarkar poems on All India Radio and he got fired because of it, which I thought was an interesting fact as well. Lata Mangeshkar has read turned many of his poems into songs as well. Yeah. He was a poet, friends. He was a man with poetic genius. Indira Gandhi has issued a stamp to commemorate VD. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Indira Gandhi gave validation to VD. Indira Gandhi basically thought that he should be respected enough to make stamps out of him. During that time, stamps were actually important because everybody was sending letters in the 70s. So, important. British thought of Savarkar as a D category prisoner, as I said, dangerous. So, okay. I read this in one place. Please fact check me. But as a 12-year-old boy, he led a gang of schoolmates to stone his village mosque and smash its windows and tiles. In the aftermath of Hindu-Muslim riots, relating how we vandalized the mosque to our heart's content as a 12-year-old boy. Apparently, also, he was very inspired by Lokmanya Tilak. And during that time, Lokmanya Tilak was trying to fight against the Muslim League and no, kiske against tha? Khilafat movement? Muslim. But Lokmanya Tilak was a firebrand leader during that time, and he was also V.D. Savarkar was extremely inspired by Lokmanya Tilak. I will, so guys, all the things I'm saying, I'll leave the sources below, okay? I have taken it in scattered parts and put it together. I will leave all the sources below so you can find out. Savarkar was an arms smuggler. He was accused of sending 20 weapons to India from England, one of which was used to kill AMT Jackson, which is why he landed up in jail. He sent 20 pistols from London to India. While in jail, Savarkar encouraged fellow prisoners to go on hunger strike, but didn't do it himself. He justified it saying they'll send him to solitary confinement and he'll miss the chance to send his annual letter to his family. That is something that R.C. Muzumdar wrote, historian. Another one of his pattern things. But yeah, those were assorted facts. Now, let's come to the meat. Are you ready for meat? Okay, we are going to talk about Savarkar's belief systems. We are going to talk about his belief systems. Hindu, Hindutva, whatever. So, Savarkar is a person who was trying to define Indian citizenship during that time, which was the 1908 to a later period. He had started thinking about who is an Indian citizen. Now, uh, basically, he called himself a Nirishwarvadi. Now, some people say that that is what an atheist is. I'm a little unclear. So, chat, if you know what a Nirishwarvadi is, please let me know. But people have said that that means an atheist. So, Savarkar was an atheist. He did not believe in rituals. He, in fact, said that his wife and his personal last rituals will not be rituals. Like he didn't want Shraddha to happen after he passes away. And he also claimed that the word Hindu is not a religious thing. It is a cultural thing. Essentially, he thought that all Hindus are same. Yeah. And he said that that is a national identity marker, being a Hindu. So, because he already thought that it's a religious thing, he coined the term Hindutva. Basically, he's playing with semantics at this point, right? His whole thing was that if you are someone who belongs to this Pitru Bhumi, he never called it Matru Bhumi. I mean, I say never, but I haven't seen him call him Matru Bhumi. Called it Pitru Bhumi, which is where you're born. And also, if you consider this your Punya Bhumi, which means land who you owe your allegiance to. Yeah. If Pitru Bhumi and Punya Bhumi come together, then you are essentially a Hindu and you are an Indian citizen. That is how he was defining citizenship. Okay. It's a little confusing when you think about it. It's a kind of confusing thing, which is basically he's saying that, oh, there are no rituals. Like, basically, rituals can be different. So, Hinduism should not concern itself with rituals. And it should be only a cultural thing. But this culture is already sort of varied and diverse. So he wanted to make it like sort of homogeneous. That's what he was trying to do. Another interesting thing, he said that valorizing the cow is problematic. Yeah. He didn't say that you should eat beef. No, he didn't really go there. But he said that worshipping the cow and valorizing the cow is problematic. He said that if it is being like if the animal is being killed to sort of annoy the Hindus, then that is a wrong thing to begin with. But at the same time, it is an utilitarian animal and it should be used for many utilities that it provides. So valorizing it doesn't make sense. And also he promoted eating non-vegetarian food. So as I said, prawn roasting, remember? Prawn roasting and MK Gandhi. So, another theory which I came across is that apparently Savarkar's hatred for Muslims might have come from his jailers. That there are records which show that there was this very terrifying person in the cellular jail who used to flog, and he was an expert at flogging, who was assigned to do it to Savarkar all the time, and he was a Muslim. So there might be some deep-seated trauma issues which kind of came out later. Again, one of those theories. I read it again. VD opposed caste discrimination. Yeah, he was very opposed to caste discrimination. In 1920s, when the movement against untouchability was at its peak, Savarkar wanted to go further and completely root out caste from India. Right? Again, he wanted to sort of homogenize it. That was another reason, which is that he wanted to create a national identity. So caste didn't really figure when you want a united national identity per se. He understood that part. Okay. So, in an essay titled Women's Beauty and Duty, Savarkar stated that a woman's main duty was to her children, her home, and her country. As per Savarkar, any woman digressing from her domestic duties was morally guilty of breach of trust. Funnily enough, he was thought of as a progressive during that time because Tilak used to say that women shouldn't be educated and they shouldn't have any say in voting either. So, advanced version of that thinking was Savarkar, where he's like, no, education is fine, all good, but domestic duties, if you breach your trust, morally guilty. So yeah, these are his belief systems, which I thought were interesting and worth pointing out. Now, here's the thing, final word on this. Savarkar's life can be interpreted in many ways. My only request to you is don't apply 2024 standards to things that happened in 1910 onwards till 1940, actually. Like the independence struggle, all the things. Things were very different back then. Why someone was taking an action, what drove them to do it, might be, you know, based on your perspective. Yeah. And his petition thing, I genuinely think it is okay. Is that so wrong to say that? He maybe was not able to handle the pain, man. Like, I mean, is that so wrong? Like, they were torturing him and he was asking for mercy. And the British had actually allowed people to ask for mercy and file these petitions. So he was using it. Why is that a big deal? I don't understand. We can make memes about it, sure. It's funny when you make it into a meme. I've done it also. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of memeing and making a thumbnail called Sorry Veer. But here I am who is saying, maybe cut him some slack. Maybe. मेरा camera is going nuts again, sorry. यार मैं प्रो एस्टैब्लिशमेंट कुछ तो मतलब बोल रहा था एंड ये थोड़ा प्रो एस्टैब्लिशमेंट लग रहा है ना मैं बोला तो लाइक व्हाट आई सेड जस्ट अ सेकंड टर्निंग इट ऑन अगेन आ गया क्या फिर से हेलो आई एम बैक हेलो I think that was appropriate time to sort of end our Savarkar saga also. Friends, if you have any comments, if you want to fact check me, please go ahead, comments me, whatever. Much appreciated. Thank you for listening to my long deep dive into Savarkar. If you have enjoyed the whole thing, say hi. Also, please send it to people. If you thought that you learned something today, if you thought you got an interesting perspective, if you thought this was enjoyable and entertaining, please send. Please send. Till you say hi, I'm going to open up Discord and we are going to go talk to our members. So, friends, if you are a person who wants to talk to me, then please come to Discord. Is that link active yet? Still active? Just checking. Wait, let me just check if that is active. Huh? But I'm going into live chat also.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Shweta. New people are able to join, right? The link is active?
No, the link is not active.
Hey, just a second. I'll have to do that then. Sorry. Guys, I'm just putting up a link. You guys talk till then.
So if we hit 300 likes, we have another membership giveaway. So guys, please like the stream.
Oh, we have a membership giveaway
Like कर दो.
now.
Gift bomb. We'll have a gift bomb if we get 300 likes, guys. Please.
Oh wow, guys, क्या मस्त लोग हो तुम लोग. अभी कितने 276.
Courtesy of Tipsy Monk. Courtesy of Tipsy Monk.
Okay, so Tipsy Monk has offered that he's going to do a membership giveaway if we get to 300 likes. Like.
Please
and like he says, अब तो pro government भी बोल दिया. हम
मैंने
लोग
प्रो
full
गवर्नमेंट
appeasement.
बोला था. No, I want to hear what you guys think about the whole thing also, if you saw the whole thing.
Hmm.
What did you think? This is the first time I'm doing a deep dive like this.
Hmm.
I usually don't touch history. But what did you
Hmm.
think? Who मत बोल, बताना क्या
Acha, sorry. Ha ha ha.
है?
I mean, I have like something to remark. Like, I feel like the thing that they're doing with Savarkar and all, what the RSS, BJP, and all such affiliates are doing is that they're trying to do some sort of historical revisionism, right? So nowadays we are seeing like more push towards, Veer Savarkar instead of Gandhi and Nehru as like the prime figures that we refer to as an example of like independence movement. So I think historical revisionism is like the push, and that is what they're going to try to do for like the next 5 years when they come to power.
I mean, yeah. I mean, see, again, as I said in the beginning, history is written by the victors. Currently, the victors are different. So, history is going to be revised. Correct. Sorry, just a second. Adi, thank you for the 5 memberships. And Tipsy Monk also, thank you for the 10 memberships. Oh, that happened fast. The giveaway happened really fast. Wow, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Tipsy Monk, like you're now a moderator, friend.
Yes, sir.
Well done, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
As if.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm going to continue playing our amazing movie in the background, which is amusing thing to watch in the background without the sound. So yeah, you guys were telling me about historical revisionism. So tell me. Sorry. Before you start, guys, I have put up a link in the community. If you are a member, you can go to the channel community page. Go there. There is a Discord link. Join, and there is a live debate thing happening here. You can just join in the VC. Go on. Who was that?
Meghnath, hi. Hello, it's me,
Hi.
Prasmit.
Prasmit and then Binnes sir. Okay.
Okay. So I was just going through actually he was this Prakash Ambedkar was doing some this what we call as press conference, and there someone asked about Veer Savarkar. So what Prashant Ambedkar replied to that is ki, like to whom we are actually making Veer Savarkar as a hero. The one before who got arrested or one who after got arrested. So like which must be the one we should like look for ideal. Like before he got arrested, he was actually a rationalist. He was actually talking something which made sense, right? At some part of time, but after he got arrested and then he filed a mercy petition, and when he came out of the jail, so only that part is getting idealized by the current establishment. So I mean, if anyone is making Veer Savarkar as the ideal, that's fine, that's their choice. But won't it make sense if they make him ideal of the ideas before him getting arrested?
I just think, like I honestly like, as I said in the beginning also, like you can choose whether to turn him into a hero or not. You can take parts of his life and learn something from it. He's a character. Okay, so he's like a character in a plethora of characters during our independence struggle. So I just look at it that way, right? Which is and you're correct, right? Like his behavior after he came out of jail and before he went to jail was very different. And of course, the reason was jail. Like what happened in the middle is a significant part of his life. So he did change as a person. Whether he became a British approver, whether he sided with the British, whether he. So there is actually like letters written and speeches given which did point towards how he was actively opposing the Quit India movement when it was happening. Like he has said it as much. Chama Prasad Mukherjee was one of the people who was also opposing the Quit India movement because they didn't believe that Gandhi really knew what he was doing, honestly speaking. And they sided with the Muslim League. Hindu Mahasabha and Muslim League came together. They formed a government together. They did things with the British. A lot of things happened during that time.
I mean, Prakash Ambedkar ji did say that we can idealize Veer Savarkar only before his arrest part of time.
I don't think we
then
should
it would make
idealize
more
it.
sense.
I don't think we should idealize historical figures in the first place. I mean, we can learn from them.
Mhm.
We can look at them as interesting characters with stories of their own, motivations of their own.
Mhm.
And again, as
Mhm.
I said, during that time, what happened versus if you apply the same standards of today to that time, they will be very different, right? For example, as I
Mhm.
said, right,
Mhm.
Tilak was max patriarchy, right, which is like, oh, women shouldn't be educated, women shouldn't be because that was generally the thinking during that time, which makes Savarkar look progressive, which is he was saying that women's duty is in the house, but he was like okay with education for women, right? So see, you can't apply the same standards that you have in 2024 to characters that existed back then. Their motivations were defined by the environment that persisted during that time, right? None of us know how it was. So to see their letters and to see what they have said to each other, because they used to say a lot of things to each other, like all the time. Like सब गाली मार रहे थे एक दूसरे को, honestly. Like Ambedkar was cursing Nehru. Nehru was also snide remarks on Ambedkar. Ambedkar was also critical of Gandhi. Gandhi was doing hunger fast whenever he got upset. Savarkar was sending mercy petitions and filing his own letters and writing to other people. Golwalkar, all these people were also in somewhere in history writing letters to each other. So think of it that way, no? Like it's just like a buzz of people just talking to each other with different ideologies and ideas during that time. Because honestly, the backdrop is that they were trying to come up with a freaking new country, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Okay, there is a question here from Monicon.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just go to the crux of it. Do you think Gandhi is still an untouchable figure when it comes to this attempt at historical revisionism?
No, I don't
So
think so.
basically,
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I feel like there is some sort of, I do have to say, there is some sort of, how can I say it? Like there is this accusation that is done, right, which is that, oh, leftist historians have distorted history and not really given the real facts about the figures that we care about, like people like Savarkar, right? There is some merit to that argument, honestly, a little bit at least, because as I said, when a political party is in power, right now BJP is in power, right? So they are creating their own ideologues, they're creating their own historians. There are people who agree with the ideology and they will find facts which they can narrate for their own ideology or to feed that ideology. That did happen during the Congress time also. Like, why is that such a surprise? Because that is what freaking politics does. That is what governments do. They want to stay in power, and one of the powerful tools
Do
that
you
they
think
have is
that
history.
Gandhi was at all like responsible for like the propagating of like Hindutva propaganda?
What do you mean? Can you elaborate? Sorry. Hello? Who was that?
Cedar OG.
Cedar OG, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand
Yeah,
the question. Go on. Cedar? I don't know.
is it on the lines of that he had a very pro-Ram approach? Is that what you're getting at? I'm just trying to understand the question.
So he was basically, again, the thing is, I think he was asking if Gandhi was sort of supporting Hindutva sentiments or Hindu fundamentalism. Is that what he was asking?
Okay, I think we should give them time to type
Yeah,
it
yeah,
out
yeah,
if it's possible. Meanwhile, Raj Yadav has had a persistent and very nice question for a change. He's saying, why is Savarkar popular in Maharashtra and not so much in North India?
Honestly, because he was Marathi. Simple reason, right? Most of his writing is in Marathi. He was a great poet. A lot of his poems are very popular, and his writings are also read like decently. And also like from Nashik area, etc. Local freedom fighters. If you think of it that way, right? Local heroes. He's a local hero in Maharashtra. And yeah, that's fair. Marathi guy, man. That's I think one of the basic reasons why he's popular in Maharashtra.
Son of the soil.
Yeah. Millennial Mind was the one who was.
Yes.
Also Chitpavan Brahmin Sahab, someone is saying, yeah. Go on, Millennial.
So I have a question. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's regarding semantics.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I heard somewhere whether British themselves used to call it as mercy petition or they used to call it as amnesty petition.
They used to call it
and then
clemency petition. As far as I saw, I think they were calling it clemency petition, not mercy petition. Again, someone can fact check me on this, but I feel like in a bunch of places I read clemency petition. So I think that was the correct term.
So which historian came up with like he replaced the clemency word with the mercy, and then we went on.
That's a very interesting question, and honestly, I have no answer. But it did happen at some point. Yeah, interesting.
No problem. One regarding partition as well. I mean, Congress. I mean, it's not much related to Savarkar and the Muslim League, but it's mostly like Congress claims that we had to give in for partition. Like there were many demands and all. But when we look at the election results, right? Congress was the OG political party. I mean, it's like Narendra Modi saying, "Hey, there is some independent MLA in Maharashtra, and because of him, I cannot pass this." But I'm like, you were the OG political power. You could literally like don't even care what the few seats for VHP, few seats for Muslim League. In fact, Congress went on to win some of the Muslim seats as well. So I don't know. I mean, how much their claim is correct? Like partition happened because we had to give in to this two nation theory.
Again, yeah, go on. Someone else. Yeah.
I think the main reason for that is that first of all we didn't have any power to say no because the Britishers had decided after a certain point that we will have to like divide these people on the lines of religion because that's what the elites wanted, be it Muslims or Hindus. That's what they wanted. No one else got the right to vote, right?
Yeah.
And the British would have had to like settle for that. Ultimately, like we had no choice. Congress had no choice. No one else had any choice since there was a significant disruption from either fundamental sides on both religions. That's what.
Also, guys, as someone pointed out, clemency does mean mercy. I just checked for its definition and it does. Yeah. So, mercy petition, clemency petition, maybe interchangeable. I don't know. But mercy just sounds more contemporary, honestly, than clemency, right? Semantics.
Yes. I have a point to make here.
Go on.
Sometime back, I watched a debate between Ashok Pandey from the Credible History and Professor Sangeet Ragi. So they had quite a heated discussion. So the anchor came in between and said, do you have any respect for Savarkar? And I agree with what Ashok Pandey said. He said, अगर किसी ने आधा घंटा भी independence के लिए fight किया है तो I respect that person. So I think we should have that much respect for Savarkar for whatever he did, for even if it was on violent terms. But whatever he did was for the country at the end of it.
Honestly,
but
yeah.
But post उसका एक pre और post phase है सावरकर का. So pre phase में he goes to मतलब he does everything for a freedom struggle. He has his own struggles and he has his own ideology. Whatever he thinks about others or Muslims or two nation theory. But एकदम flip मार गया वो. मतलब once he goes to Kalapani, after that he just flipped.
And why is that? See, that's what I keep coming back to. After he went to Kalapani, he flipped, right? Honestly.
Yes.
But I mean, there is jail in the middle. I mean, people genuinely ignore what he might have gone through there.
Correct. So Kalapani was people were not having a good time.
Yeah.
I think Sazai Kalapani, the movie aptly sort of showcased what kind of torture people went through. So it was not a very good place to be in. So even if he wrote mercy petitions, Ashok Pandey then says कि और किसी ने mercy petitions नहीं किए इनको छोड़ के. So that is also a thing that I agree with him. So I don't know what happened exactly. There is quite a debate on this thing. But then yeah, it is what it is.
No, absolutely, I agree with you. And so, for example, would you think, just as a thought experiment, right? So let's say he was allegedly involved in a bunch of assassinations, right? Even before he went to jail and after also, right? He was basically an underground operator, right? Who had identified certain people in the British establishment who he thought if he assassinated them, there would be disruption. Let's put it that way, right? Bhagat Singh to a large extent also thought like that, right? Where he was also like doing the same thing. Now, if let's say Savarkar is one such person who is engineering like these whole events, doesn't that also make him a freedom fighter then?
Correct, exactly. I was thinking on the same lines because Bhagat Singh also, went to jail on the same terms.
Yeah.
But he never wrote any mercy petitions or did anything of that sort.
Correct.
Instead, he thought, hanging would be a better option rather than, writing mercy petitions to the British.
Correct. So you can be someone. So you can be someone who can basically be a rational, nuanced person who is reading history, looking at all of his life events, and then looking at them like critically, saying that, so what he said about Hindutva, I don't agree with. What he said about the two-nation theory and how Muslims should be treated, I do not agree with. But at the same time, what the assassination plots that happened during that time, maybe I have some sympathy for him during that time, right? Or maybe when he went to jail and faced that torture, maybe I think that he deserves sympathy during that time, right? So I don't understand why we have to look at Savarkar as just good or just bad, right? He had good phases, he had bad phases. Right, like all human beings, essentially. My thing is, once you turn him into a hero or a demon, you are forced to say either good or bad. Right? You can't look at the middle ground anymore. You can't look at things rationally anymore. And honestly, shout out to Vikram Sampath for this, honestly, because I haven't read his 2 books, but I heard a bunch of his talks, right? And he said this very clearly, right? Which is, let's say Savarkar, you admit that, like, if I say that Savarkar was not an important figure at all, which I started with, like he was a columnist, he was this, that, whatever, right? But now the current political establishment has made him an important figure for whatever political reasons, right? The reality is that you need to essentially also then look at this figure and his life. So Vikram Sampath has put in the work of making like 2 giant biographies and writing them and interpreting them in whatever way, right? Now the thing is that there were people who interpreted his life before, there are people who are interpreting it now, right? And those two interpretations are fighting with each other, right? But nobody is really admitting that it is their own interpretation and they should be challenged, right? So Vikram Sampath is challenging an old interpretation and that's completely fair. That's how academics is supposed to work, right?
That's right. Correct.
Problem comes in when politicians use this and turn it into like a Rajnath Singh type situation where it's like, तो Gandhi ने सब बोला था कि इसको petition दे दो करके. That's not true, right? So, that's the difference we need to make there. And honestly, when I was preparing for this, I was also thinking about this. And now that
No, but honestly, the noise is so much right now on all these things.
Yeah.
So we are going back in history for everything. We are not looking forward as a nation.
Yep.
But we are going back in time.
Yep.
और ये सब कुरेद के निकाल रहे हैं जबरदस्ती का. I mean, इसने क्या किया, उसने क्या किया. So what happens in this? There's so much of noise that even if you try to reason with someone and tell them, देख भाई ये ऐसा था लेकिन ये ऐसा भी था, right? तो सुनते नहीं है लोग. I mean, people have their own interpretation. नहीं तू leftist है. Like I was having a conversation with one of my friends. Sorry, I hope I'm not hijacking the entire thing.
No, no,
Sorry.
no, no,
Just
no.
wanted to make one last point. So I was just having, मैंने उसको बता रहा था कि सावरकर का देख ऐसा था, ये था, but ये भी था, वो भी था. So eventually that guy labeled me a leftist only कि तू leftist history पढ़ता है, तू ऐसा है, वैसा है. So that is what is going on here.
Because people want you to get emotional and they are also emotional.
Correct, but I think all these people like Savarkar, they fall somewhere in between. मतलब उनका एक अच्छा फेज भी है, एक फिर ये भी फेज है where you have to criticize them.
So like
for what it is.
like here I think there was a person called Ramya who was saying that he's evil through and through. The man was evil through and through. There is no debate there. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that.
How would you characterize evil?
Correct, na? But if he was evil, then he would have not joined the freedom struggle itself. He would have just sided with the British from day one. So even Gandhiji, you only said, right? Gandhiji was also recruiting in World War One. So would we call Gandhi an evil person? No, right? So kabhi you have to do certain things even if you don't want to, in order to survive that phase.
See, that's what I keep saying, right? The environment during that time was very different than what we face right now.
Correct.
Right? So you can't apply the same standards to that time. Also, we were in an oppressive regime at the end of the day, and we were writing letters to each other. There was practically no communication. There was a Telegraph Act where the British were looking at all sorts of telegraphs and intercepting them and whatever. That was the reality back then. Right? We don't know how it was to operate during that time. How it was, how was Gandhi operating? How was Savarkar operating exactly? All those things. You can't apply the same standard. And again, guys, I again want to reiterate that I am not going into good or bad or whether he was evil or whatever. You can have your own interpretation. Feel free. You can call him evil if that makes you feel better. You can say he's a saint if that makes you feel better. I'm just trying to put forward some views which I have collected from a bunch of sources in the last 2 days. And we are just interpreting them ourselves. And as you have a right to interpret, I also have a right to interpret in a way that I want.
Meghnad, hi. I just interject.
Hi. There was
Yeah,
there was someone who was asking for Bryce, I think, was asking for something. Then Shubham, you can go. Yeah, Bryce first, then you. Bryce, can you hear me?
What's that? Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, Bryce, go.
No, that's me. Bharadwaj here.
Oh, hi, Bharadwaj. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. Firstly, the deep dive was comprehensive and unbiased. So kudos for that. What the best part was the way you concluded it. Yeah, we need not judge any of the historical characters based on our current standards. And secondly, you cannot really define evil in the sense. Sorry,
not evil. I'm saying we are going into the nitty-gritties too much, as into the details.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So what I want to say is that if Vinayak Damodar Savarkar represents a certain idea in present era, and that is an idea which is really divisive, to be very honest, then of course that representation of that man, we really need not go into the details, because he is he represents an idea which actually believes in a motherland based on religions. So if the man actually represents this kind of an idea, we really need not go into the details.
He actually doesn't. See, that's another nuance that is added there, right? Which he doesn't think Hinduism is religion. He thinks that practices should be opposed. He's an atheist himself. He eats non-vegetarian. He thinks that cow shouldn't be worshipped.
Yeah, basically what he says is that he differentiates from the Indian, as in his idea of Indianism is that the holy land of those people, those who believe that holy land is India, those are actual Indians. So that's what he believes, right?
No, the thing is, okay, there is another thing, I think in one place that, someone pointed it out, that apparently Annie Besant was a good friend of his, and Madame Kama, So basically, he had said that if I essentially define Hinduism as a religion, then where will you two go? Right? You are also as Indian as I am because you also helped with the struggle. You are also your ideology and your interest in this nation matters, right? Which is like the Punya Bhumi. So people interpret it as holy land, which I think he is defining it as a place that you are owe your allegiance to, right? Which I think are two different things. So again, I'm throwing some like sort of arguments which I've heard from Vikram Sampath also here, right? So go on.
But this has to be Islamophobic only, right? Because I think he's referring to the Ummah that all Muslims ultimately owe their
Yeah. So
allegiance to.
I have to say, later in his life, he also wrote about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we have to give him credit for, because he didn't essentially ask for like a non-dharmic or non-punya bhumi people need to be deported or something. I think that was Golwalkar who wrote in specific that communist Christians and Muslims are the biggest threat to the nation. I don't think Savarkar was overtly genocidal in the sense. I think that's something that we can give him.
I
Like
think
he was not pure evil.
He had differences between Golwalkar. Like he had differences with Golwalkar. Golwalkar was a Hitler Bhakt, right? So you can say the larger RSS was Hitler Bhakt, right? Like proper inspired by Nazis, etc. All of the things, right? Savarkar, on the other hand, was not exactly aligning with the RSS. In fact, he split up and formed his own faction. Which was Savarkarite. They called it later the Savarkarite faction, which did not agree with the RSS.
By the way,
we might be just talking about different shades of gray.
Yeah.
So, see, for one, we at this point we cannot even judge fully characters like Winston Churchill or Stalin, because which part of it do you take? The World War part of it, or the Gulag part of it, or the racist part of it, or the World War fighting Nazis part of it? For these characters, so it's not so easy to just say, okay, the Savarkar is absolutely evil. But the question remains, why do we even need to discuss a character like Savarkar? It's because the current regime wants to bring in this character, portray him as the person who was just forgotten and
correct
sidelined by the previous governments. So, and the act we need to do now is bring in facts enough to fight those lies. The lies part of it. See, there is a freedom fighting episode of his life. We can discuss it. We should discuss it. He definitely sacrificed a lot of his life for it. Absolutely fine. But the later half of his life, and when very powerful people try to mix a lot of fiction with whatever actually happened, historically happened with his life, it is important to bring in the facts. We cannot fight those lies with our own set of opinions and lies. It has to be facts, which I sincerely believe you have done in the deep dive.
Bharadwaj, so that's the thing. No, history is not just the facts. It's facts which are converted into narratives, right? We are dealing with that. So then the narrative can either be biased or it can be, I mean, it is always biased, I feel like. Narrative is always biased.
So again, narrative building is also relative in the sense, let's say, why did the early governments, say Nehru's government or the successive governments initially brought in the Gandhian principles or the non-violent principles? Because their set of standards were India needs to be a pacifist country or a diplomatic country. So they brought in these Gandhian principles and they wanted to sideline. And again, whether it is right or wrong purely depends on the person who's looking at it. So it is relative.
Correct.
And now that the regime changed to something that's more right-leaning, they want to bring in the other side of it. So, I mean, I don't even know if you can go into the good or bad part of it, but it's extremely related.
Yeah. No, what you said made sense, except for the part where you said that. Did you say that Churchill can't be criticized? No, you didn't, right?
No, I didn't. No one can not be criticized. Everyone can be and must be criticized.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. See, for one, I think if you take characters like, let's say, Hitler or Laden, we can call them evil because their overall impact on the world or the people and society around them was to the most extent bad.
So
Yeah,
so
they might.
so let me
Sorry?
ask you another question then. Subhash
Please.
Chandra Bose reaching out to Nazi Germany and essentially offering support and taking their support to defeat the British. Does that make him, by extension, evil?
Not
I added a
necessarily.
fun fact that I just read.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Isn't there a difference between like the situations though? Like, so if there were other alternatives, like Subhash Chandra Bose was fighting Japanese for allied to Germans back then, but then he was also like trying to get help from Germans and deal with the British. So, like, can you really compare that with the entire Savarkar situation?
No.
That's
And the
That's
answer
where
is no. Yeah, you're right.
no.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
can't.
Shubham, can you please go
Yeah.
on mute? There is a lot of background. Your mic is picking up, and there are a couple of questions in the chat of the VC mail. There is one question from Sharing Freud, and there is another. Bryce wants to have a chance to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
may I speak?
Yeah, Bryce, go.
I think contexts are really important. Well, just to ask, you
What? Sorry? Did he cut off? Bryce?
Bryce, your voice is out.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I got cut off, but Bryce got cut off. I think his mic got cut off. Anyway, Bryce, you can write on chat also, huh? If it's not working, I'll read it out.
Okay. Meghnad, quickly.
Yeah, go on, go on.
Regarding the Subhash Chandra Bose question,
Go on.
I'll just, I mean, if I may just put it in a very small analogy. So imagine we're stuck in a prison, an oppressive prison or a bad place. We got kidnapped. And to escape that place, you take the help of a murderer who is also, stuck with you.
Correct.
Or fighting that person. By extension, do you become a murderer? No. You took help of a person, but you don't necessarily believe in that person's acts or ideologies. And as far as my current understanding and knowledge goes, Subhash Chandra Bose hasn't endorsed the Nazi activities. Not even on the scale of
Please,
what
please.
RSS.
Can I? Can
Sorry.
I? Subhash Chandra Bose actually had a fascination with fascism when he went to visit Germany, and he actually planned that if he were to come back, he would want India to be a dictatorship or a autocratic regime for a few years, so that people can actually understand how democracy functions and stuff. There's a lot of nuance with Subhash Chandra Bose. He's the other side of the Savarkar coin because
So Yoda. Sorry, Yoda. One thing, sorry, Yoda. I had heard of this. Someone had told me about this also. Just wanted to ask people in the chat or later people who are watching. Please, can you also like fact check this, because this is very interesting. I've heard of this before as well, which is
You literally say in the
there's also an argument to be made that the INA was objectively bad for Indians, both in terms of like the British conquering us after and the treatment that they suffered under the Japanese, because that was actually horrendous. Like the things that we hear about the Nanjing massacre and all, that was done on Indians as well. And that's something that we don't associate much of both with.
Meghnad, but there's like a little bit of nuance to that.
Okay.
Primarily because the lens which we like after 70 years, 80 years of the World War associate fascism with is not something they associated fascism with in the first place. Because like the essence of fascism in like 1940s was a political principle which is adorned by like the yesteryears were great, and that is why like we should aim to like learn from the yesteryears to make ourselves better. That was the essence of the Mussolini fascism, which actually glorified the Roman Empire in a way that Roman Empire was the peak of Western civilization, and that's why we have to like endorse it in that, and that's why you have to rebuild Italy in that way. So like those ideas were like in some ways not like the ideas in itself are not genocidal. The principles with which those ideas were in a way implemented or enforced upon is what like we associate with today. But to associate the entire to associate the moral principles people had, because they weren't like, as we know, hindsight is 2020, right? So like they didn't have that hindsight with them, that like fascism could like, or the conception of fascism could lead to some like lead to the road of like 60 million people being killed in a certain war, right? Like we have to put that nuance out there as well.
No, and also like,
Sebastian.
sorry, just to add to that, add matlab thoda sa, like I wanted to add to what you just said. I feel like there are patterns of what authoritarian regimes do, right? So in the 1940s, in the 1950s, even in Cambodia, as far as late 1970s goes, even what are happening in Gaza right now, oppressors, they act in a certain way, which are patterns which sort of point towards fascist mentality, authoritarian mentality, and that can also go into territories of extreme, right? Like there can be like an active genocide, there can be like lower levels of fascism where like you're not allowed to speak, you're allowed to think a certain way, all those things, right? So there are the different shades there of but at the same time, whether it was the 40s or whether it is now, the whole point is that the point is oppression, right? And evil operation, like how you do it is what basically where the quote unquote nuance comes in.
Yes. And in Subhash Chandra Bose's case, if we have any examples, any verified examples of INA acting in a certain way, like how the Japanese army acted in Nanking, or the Nazi army, act in Eastern Europe. Yes, we have to criticize those aspects, and we can criticize Subhash Chandra Bose as well. No one is an exception for critique or criticism.
But I think
So far,
one of the biggest. Yeah. Please continue. Please continue.
no, it's okay. Please, you lost your
No,
mic
no,
earlier.
please, you complete your point. I'll speak later.
Guys, sorry, I have to say this. There is this the voice in my head right now, which I want to talk about a little bit. Because I'm also reading chat, and there are some people who are basically like getting very emotional about this. So I wanted to sort of also like flag that a little bit. Guys, if anything of this chat we are having right now is making you uncomfortable, or it is something that is making you outrage, or if it's making you, I don't know, throw a fit or whatever, exit. Exit, friends. You don't have to indulge. It's okay. You can be sane. Like we are trying to have a sane conversation, but please understand that this is a one-to-one conversation we are having, and I feel like everybody has their own interpretations of things, and I'm just giving a space which is allowing them to sort of put it forward, and I don't think that's a problem, right? So yeah, okay, go on. Yeah.
Megnath, can I jump in?
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem that the left or slightly left leading faction of this country is facing right now is that, their heroes are being stripped away from them. For example, Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose. These are, if history is being read in the right way.
अरे फिर से आवाज चला गया. Bryce, you're making some interesting points, but तेरा आवाज चला जाता है रे.
Is actually very great.
लगता है मोदी जी साजिश कर रहे हैं, उसका इंटरनेट काट दे रहे हैं.
Yeah,
this is the third time this happened.
Yeah.
मोदी जी उसका इंटरनेट काट रहे हैं यार.
Not the actual film.
का कनेक्शन होगा.
डाल दिया उसके कंप्यूटर.
I have something to add to the Bose point as like somebody who is a Bengali.
Go on. Who was that? Sorry.
Yes, that's me, Cinnamon. Hello.
Cinnamon, go.
I raised the point of historical revisionism.
Yes.
So I feel like what we are trying to do now, what the Indian government and media is trying to do now with Savarkar, we have already done years prior with Bose, right? There are multiple parallels between like the sort of life course of Savarkar and Bose. Both of them used violence in their methods. Both of them were sort of proponents of radical ideologies.
So that's why BJP is being able to do this, because they're also taking away heroes from their faction as well. That is the most dangerous part of this whole exercise, and that I think should be addressed in a much better way from by the liberal faction of this country, because that's the greatest problem that I feel right now we are facing. as a community, if you can say so.
Sorry, can you articulate it better? Like, what is the biggest problem that the liberal quote unquote faction is facing?
That their heroes are getting stripped away. They do not have any heroes right now, as per the BJP faction. As the Unbugs say, they have taken away the heroes of liberal faction. For say, Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose, for example.
How would you take away? Like, how have they taken them away? Like, they have
So,
co-opted them. They have co-opted, reinterpreted, and basically made
yeah,
them their own.
exactly.
Is
For
that why?
example, this movie only, there Bhagat Singh has been shown, but as he's saying that I want to translate your work into, I don't know which language he was talking about. I don't remember quite well. And then Savarkar is saying to Subhash Chandra Bose that go and seek help from Japan and Germany and use their modern techniques and artilleries to topple down the British
But
in
the
India.
problem is, I'm
Sorry,
sorry, I'm
guys.
butting in between.
I'm just interrupting. Good underscore old underscore daddy. Can you change your name? You're impersonating me. I'm giving you 5 minutes to change the name. Otherwise, I'm kicking you. Thanks. Yeah. Bolo.
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying, because
But isn't
I
Bhagat
just
Singh
want
meeting
to make one
Savarkar
quick
in the
point.
name of?
There are some factual errors in the trailer of the movie,
Okay.
which journalist Takle has also pointed out with Sohit Mishra in his interview.
I,
Uh,
I honestly,
as far
Dr. Paul, I don't want to go there right now. The movie trailer and the fact checking
No,
there.
that's fine. No, why am I? Yeah, I don't want to also go there. Actually, the point that I'm trying to make
Yeah.
is that there are three things that I want to say. I was listening to the discussion
Gone.
for last 10 minutes. The point is that Savarkar has been a man of paradox and contradiction throughout his life, starting from his early revolutionary phase, where he is a romantic revolutionary, to post jail scenario where he comes out speaking about the uh, idea of Hindutva and other aspects. So the problem is that there is a major difference between his ideology and his practices, which I think throughout your discussion has also come out pretty clearly. So I think when you're trying to ask, no, how will you interpret evil per se, and how do you see what is the understanding of an evil? I think evil's interpretation, in my perspective, would be someone who is opportunistic. And how I read Savarkar from the facts point of view, what has been so far presented from different standpoints, I think throughout his life he has only been opportunist for the circumstances that have come in his way.
Fair
So
enough.
that's the problem. That's the problem, basically.
See, again, when you say throughout his life, right? This is the point where someone will bring in an incident or a letter he has written where he is not so. Right? So, my thing is that if we are making definitive statements that throughout his life he basically followed like a certain sort of way, which points towards him being quote unquote evil, quote unquote fascist, whatever you want to call it. There will be always like some interpretation with some letter उसका निकल के आएगा जिसमें उसने कुछ तो भी बोला है, which is like completely the opposite. My thing is branding him one way or the other doing you any good? I'm just asking, just a general question, because it is doing the politicians a lot of good. Branding Savarkar as a hero, co-opting, as someone rightly pointed out, co-opting Gandhi, co-opting Ambedkar. It is doing them a lot of good, right? Because they can they have this opportunity to turn everything into like this emotional thing. They give you a random hero which you have to now worship. Every time someone says something against him or criticizes him in another way which goes against what they want to propagate, then FIRs are filed against you. Now, who is the real authoritarian here? The establishment, the current establishment, right? Which is sort of taking examples of Savarkar's life and then turning them into things that they want to happen, right? Saying Savarkar and Golwarkar in the same breath, even that is, I feel like a little strange, because these are two people who had a different kind of ideology also. Sure, both of them had a right-wing quote-unquote ideology, but there were nuances there.
I don't think we have any option right now, because the way this regime has, amplified the stature of Savarkar, there's no other way. I mean, you cannot just make him irrelevant overnight. You have to fight that narrative, and that's how you can make him irrelevant, or turn that narrative and turn the tide eventually. One more thing that I want to point out is that so Subhash Chandra Bose wrote a book which was called The Indian Struggle, right? And in that book, there's a certain chapter where he mentions Jinnah and Savarkar in same paragraph, in same breath.
Yeah.
And these are the factual fallacies that we are right now witnessing, that right wing of this country is dishing out to us. I mean, they have completely kept the other faction in dark, or maybe the general public of this country in complete dark. That's one thing that we really need to counter, because it's really hurting us a lot, because they've totally changed the narrative, and that's why I said that our heroes are being stripped away.
Meghna, if I can,
Yeah.
like, put in a point,
Go
like,
on.
almost in the correlation with Bryce, but like it's probably a bit different. Like, if you, yeah. So, like, as Bryce pointed out, that like the left side of the factions are basically having a hard time because their heroes are being co-opted or like reinterpreted by the right side of the faction. But as you would, like, if you would look it from the other side, it's very difficult for the left side of the faction, let's say figuratively in this case, to co-opt the right side of the faction's heroes. For example, like, Congress cannot co-opt or interpret Golwalkar in any way so that it suits them. But it's very somewhat easy for the right side of the faction, aka in this case, let's say BJP, to co-opt someone like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, even if he, or Bhagat Singh, even if they are completely against what they represent right now, because they have that ability to do that. And it's, if you look at it, I'm sorry, I
No,
have to
the
probably
thing is,
draw.
okay, no. Okay, I think you're getting one thing. One thing I think I wanted to clarify यहाँ पे. There is a reason why people are deified also, right? For example, once you deify a Gandhi, once you deify a Savarkar, once you deify a Subhash Chandra Bose, nobody can question them, right? That is also one of the things which is like, for example, when, what does deifying mean, right? You know, it is a term which means that you're turning something into a god which you're supposed to repose your faith in, right? So if anybody is questioning, let's say, a Gandhi or a Savarkar or whatever, like a critic, quote unquote, right, who is like, let's say, like, I know relatives who have pictures of Savarkar in their house. Right now I walk into their house and I'm like, Arey, how are you having this guy on your wall? He had so many problems, but he's on their wall because he's deified for them. So if I question, even if I put facts in front of them, it doesn't matter. It'll just make them angrier and angrier, right? And these people are deified by people in power for a reason.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, it's not about people in power alone, Meghna? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, alternatively, that it's within the paradigm of our society, aka Indian society, to deify people. So it's like, see, like, the current dispensation does not ask you to deify someone like Rajinikanth, right? But you will find people having posters of him, or like wallpapers of him and all that shiz, right? So, like, I believe that this entire nature is in many ways, like, the politics which we are like facing right now in many ways is very, what should I say, or like, it's very organized religion, like you. And the thing is, the way the BJP plays politics is very similar to how, like, a lot of like, for a lack of a better term, it's like how it's like co-opt all the other gods so that you become the overarching religion in this case.
Of course.
And they become the minor religion.
No.
Then, as we become the overarching religion, people have to come to worship us rather than worship a smaller set of gods out there.
Oh, of course,
That is
of
the
course.
strategy.
No, also politics is a game of symbols, right? So you need to create as many symbols as you can which people can follow. It's like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're going to get, sort of a thing. Which is like basically politicians will always try to create symbols and things that will attract people in droves, right? Like a mob. So that because they are always looking at a voting block, they're not looking at individuals, they're looking at a block. So if they offer a symbol like Savarkar, right, they know that there are people in Maharashtra who already think of him as a hero, right? They already think of him as a person who needs to be deified, who is a freedom fighter, yada yada yada. They don't hear anything that is critical of him, right? Now if they see that and they're like, oh, let's offer this to other states also, and then of course there are other states also who will also like relate to the story of Savarkar and whatever, and yada, symbol becomes bigger, people who follow that symbol becomes bigger, who is using it to get votes, politicians. Similarly with Gandhi, similarly with Nehru, similarly with so many people, right? If you look at these people like grey characters who existed during that time, people will not follow them in droves. People will look at them critically, look at their ideas that they propagated during that time and have like rational discussions about it, which I do believe we are having right now.
Also,
So
but I
Meghnath,
feel
Cedar का जो point था which he couldn't voice was primarily Gandhi used to or does push Brahminism to an extent, and is that okay? That was the question that he had. There was another question on the Discord live chat which spoke about why are we discussing Savarkar pre Kalapani, and I wanted to say that context, right?
Yeah.
A personality gets formed by the early years, so early years are important. In the super chats there is one very fun question about Savarkar mango kaise khate the, which should be answered.
Yeah, of course. That's a very nice one. Okay, correct. Very important.
Animations का super chat है
I
ये.
feel
And
like he
there
was an Amras guy. I feel like he was an Amras guy.
a Maharashtrian Amras guy.
Maharashtrian Amras
But
guy.
Meghnad,
Huh?
don't you find it funny that the mother of democracy uses all these symbols like, Savarkar and all the other figures in history like Savarkar, Shivaji, or all these type of things. Never seen any other country doing that except India, right? Like America won't have an Abraham Lincoln on their
exactly
election campaigns or a Lee
related
Harvey
to
Oswald. जो मतलब राइटिंग है वहां का ली हार्वी ऑसवाल्ड को कभी नहीं ऐसा पोस्टर वोस्टर पे बताया
if I
like
can
this
add to
happens
that.
only in
but
India.
if they
Sorry, guys.
actually
Sorry.
did,
Just a
sorry.
second. Don't talk over each other. Tipsy Monk, you also had a point to make. You've been waiting for a while. Go on.
So there are a bunch of one second Tipsy. There are a bunch of people who are waiting. Mr. Depressed is waiting. Spicy Cinnamon wants to complete his point, and Tipsy also.
Okay, so Tipsy, go first. Then we can take the others.
Mine is a very hypothetical pattern. What do you say? What I feel like
Go on.
what they're doing, or it's something what I feel. It's like we, majorly we as Indians, we have hero worship tendency. If I'm not wrong, generally. So what they're trying to do is go to each state and see who their like the nationalist
Yes.
faces or the those kind of things, and every
Exactly.
state they go they do the same thing. Now at the end of the day what we do is we fight that, okay, in Kerala if you come, okay, this leader, my leader is the best. See,
Right.
this man just said. And when you go
Right.
to West Bengal you said, hey, the Tagore is the best.
Right.
And we amongst fight, we end up voting for the same person, not realizing that we vote for the the figure which they have shown, but it's only going to them. We're not realizing that. It's a
Yeah.
very
Exactly,
different kind of
exactly.
a divide and a rule game.
Yeah.
Meghnad,
It's
can
what
add.
my understanding. I might be
Oh,
completely off
absolutely. I
that.
think you have hit the nail on the head. Like as Kush is saying, spitting facts today, Tipsy.
Can I add?
Go on. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what my friend has said has been perfectly said, because we Indians have that DNA of hero worshipping ingrained in us, right? And that is where, so once again bringing that point back, the Indian left has done miserably in this field, because what because we need heroes. Indians need heroes, and what the Indian left has given Indians. So if we pick up their heroes, what they have glorified is Stalin, something which is completely unrelated to Indian context. You are not glorifying Bhagat Singh. I mean, the greatest symbol that you could ever had, right? Atheist of atheists, if you can pick that point up, right? I mean, the last book that he was reading was about Lenin, right? Where can you find a better leftist or maybe communist than Bhagat Singh? But he has not been appropriated.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is
But
the point where Indian left has gone wrong.
I feel like the problem with sort of the problem with sort of grouping these matlab leaders like Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose into the quote unquote left faction is that they were never really sort of heroes because of the fact that they were idealized by leftists. They were always considered as heroes because they were more like heroes of the people. Even people on the right, like even before like this government came into power, even people on the right sort of looked at Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose with favor. So I think it's problematic to say that the Indian left has lost its heroes because they were never heroes of the Indian left as much as they were heroes
No,
of the people.
but if you go into their ideologies, if you read them in detail, what they
No,
represented was
listen.
is something. Yeah, please.
Can I just add something to it?
No, sorry. Before more people add something, Dead Inside has been waiting for a while to say something.
अच्छा हाँ I wanted to talk about something about education because जैसे आप policy के analysis करते थे, I used to do analysis for curriculums.
Okay, go on.
और मुझे एक interesting लगा कि IGCSE में या तो IB में in history from 6th standard you are taught how to handle primary and secondary sources. हाँ, पर अगर आप एनसीईआरटी को देखो और एनसीएफ 2005 का भी देखोगे एंड इवन प्रीवियस एनसीएफ्स बिफोर दैट आल्सो द डिबेट्स दैट हैव happened in our education largely have centered trying to create an Indian like आप अभी तक बात कर रहे थे ना कि we Savarkar also was looking trying to define कि Indian मतलब क्या होता है ऐसा तो हमारे educational debates भी तब से चल रहा था गांधी का एक और है कि क्या बोलते थे उसको there is a particular style of schooling that he proposed which was more of self-sufficiency and all of that. तो मैं थोड़ा I'm going off track on this, but what I meant to say is हमारे जो हिस्ट्री और सोशल स्टडीज के जो भी सब्जेक्ट्स होता है ना उसमें वी डोंट रियली एम्फसाइज कि हम तो सिर्फ लर्निंग ऑफ फैक्ट्स के ऊपर डाल देते हैं क्योंकि हम सोचते हैं कि ये हमारे ही आइडेंटिटी है तो आइडेंटिटी तुम्हें इन स्टोरी से या इन हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट से like you should just absorb it from there कि ये national identity है
rote
तो
learning
ये rote learning हाँ तो एक तो ये assessment के लिए आसान हो जाता है on a structural level और दूसरा ये है कि हम we don't have to really like think about कि हाँ ये सिखाएंगे तो क्या होंगे बच्चे के मन में या तो what are we doing while we take this pedagogy up.
You know, one more thing that a friend of mine who who basically went for this lecture recently, related to what you are just saying, right? So there was a historian. He's also part of the government and he helps them make curriculums, etc. He was saying something very interesting. He said that we teach our kids history too early because we start teaching them history when they have no concept of time, where they don't have, first you don't have a concept of self during that age, but you also don't have a concept of time, right? Which is like your time is essentially the time you spend at home and in the environments that you have right now. You don't have that expansive way to look at the past and the future, which is like, oh, the past can go back 1,000 years. Wait, 2,000 years. Wait, 3,000. Wait, it can go back 1,000,000 years? How does that work? you can't process it as a kid also, right? So when you are teaching people about, let's say, the Mughals, or you're teaching them about freedom fighters or world wars or whatever, most people are like, cannot relate. I don't know what is happening. I can't even imagine, because I remember when I was a kid, I was very bad at history also. I was bad at everything, but I was bad at history primarily, because couldn't do rote learning, because apparently they were like, oh, ये date में क्या हुआ था, like 1942 quit India movement, right, लिखना है वहाँ पे, and I had no concept of what a 1942 is. You understand, like, that's what I wanted to say, that we teach our kids history too early and then we give up. So like later very few people take history because they don't even know why.
हाँ, तो उसमें इट्स लाइक कि हम अब्सॉर्ब कर ही देते हैं ये सब और हमारे आइडेंटिटी बना देते हैं जब when it is brought up again as adults कि इस पे डिबेट हो रहा है, किसी पे डिबेट हो रहा है, तो हमारे वो अंदर के बच्चा आते हैं, आई नो दिस, मैंने लिखा था एग्जाम में, तो उसमें वो I feel like उसमें भी थोड़ा like there is a role that particularly plays, because मुझे लगता है कि कभी कई लोगों के रिएक्शन ऐसा होता है कि हमने ऐसा पढ़ा है, तो why is it not right? Why is that textbook thing not correct exactly? या तो why is the story that I've been told multiple times that not correct? तो उसमें ना हमको ऐसे समझना, I feel like कि if we can, if this whole rationalization of curriculum doesn't mean of cutting of subjects or cutting of topics in particular,
Right.
if something more of like, making the system a little bit more flexible
Correct.
to take into the take into consideration that कि अगर if we were to do like this deep dive kind of thing on Savarkar, like as a class, like एक class को समझो, तो ऐसा है कि हमारे पास ये evidences है, आप ढूंढ लो,
Right.
आप
Right. And see,
evidences.
that's exactly what I'm doing. I think you hit again, very good point that you made. When I was trying to prepare for this stream, I was looking at sources and I was being ideology agnostic. When I was every time I do research, I'm trying to be ideology agnostic, right? I'm trying to read on both, like, pro Savarkar, anti Savarkar narratives, whatever, right? Watching interviews of people, also trying not to get triggered in the process, right? So once I do that, once I make the notes, I'm then applying my sort of understanding and narrative to it. But also I do understand that because my interpretations are also influenced by these people, I should be fair to point out, and which is what I've been doing throughout the deep dive, saying that, guys, if you want to fact check me, I actually welcome it. Because I mean, my primary source, my secondary source might not be your primary source and secondary source. Like, for example, Savarkar writes a letter, right, and gives it to the British. Now, the same letter can be interpreted by 3-4 different people in 3-4 different ways. Maybe I have just seen 2 of them. Maybe there are 2 more interpretations which we haven't seen.
हाँ, वैसे भी हमारे रीजनल, अभी बोल रहे थे ना कि रीजनल वेरिएशन भी है, वो भी
Marathi, boss, this is actually a thing which is Punya Bhumi, the thing that translation, how it works, right? It also gets, a lot of things get lost in translation sometimes, because the guy wrote in Marathi, maybe the literal translations were very different, right? That is another problem.
But again, we also need to take into consideration the impact of those writings, right?
Yeah, absolutely, we should. Okay, I will have I have to end this. So I am going to thank all of you, and I am going to end this Discord thing. But one last comment anybody else wants to make, I will give that, and then I will say bye bye.
If
So there is a couplet here which I was requested to read out.
Okay, let's read couplet and end. Okay, couplet and end. Yeah.
ओके सो राजगुरु द्वारा लाहौर जेल की बैरक की दीवार पर कोयले से लिखी अंतिम पंक्तियां, हम भी जी सकते थे चुप रहकर, हमें भी माँ बाप ने पाला था दुख सहकर.
I have no idea what that means. Sorry.
Can someone kindly translate that?
I was also.
So the literal translation is we could have also lived by maintaining silence, like by keeping ourselves mum, but because our parents also went through a lot to raise us.
Okay. So we could have kept quiet, but our parents raised us because they had also like gone through a lot of sadness. What?
No, they raised us through a struggle, so we are rebellious for that because
Okay.
of
Yeah,
that.
understood. Understood. Yeah. Okay, now I get it. Yeah. But yeah, okay, got it. Yeah. Sorry, मेरा थोड़ा
Meghas,
engine
congrats
slow
on
चल रहा है.
34,000.
Yeah.
Did you get the context?
Rajguru wrote this on the wall, right?
I think it was before their hanging.
Before they're hanging. Right. Yeah, I did hear the context, but I completely did not understand the couplet. So thanks for that. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you again for joining. Tomorrow, Raju Parulekar sir is coming on the stream. He will be there. So please join in if you have time at 8. Okay. And
Please remind the chat of the agenda once before you leave.
Agenda of Raju Parulekar's interview?
Yes.
Interview nahi hai, stream hai. So you can ask questions on chat to him. I will also be asking random questions on chat to him. Chat nahi, matlab just generally. And it's going to be like a freewheeling conversation. I mean, he speaks a lot about EVM, so we'll touch upon that. He talks a lot about RSS and Brahminism and caste. He will talk about that. And I mean, that is just briefly what I think we can talk about. But of course, it's up to you. Like if you want to ask him contemporary politics ke questions, like elections ka kya hoga type thing also, please feel free. So I will take questions, of course, from people also, and I will give priority to members. So yeah.
Thank you very much for that deep dive.
Yes.
And good night. It's
I
12.
hope you enjoy. I really hope that was worth it. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, friends. Bye. Good night.
Goodbye, Meghna.
Speaking of friends, parasocials, I think this is the end of the stream. I hope you liked it. I did a poll beach May where are you getting triggered? There were 20% people who were getting triggered. 30% are like no, and 51% are having fun. I love that. So about 81% are like having fun and also not getting triggered. Success, that is the biggest marker of success that I could have hoped for. Throughout this thing, I was worried about getting people emotional and triggered. I saw a little bit of signs of that in chat also, but I'm happy that we just reached 20%. That is a very good number. I would say good number. Abhi 19% bhi ho gaya. Amazing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Tomorrow, Raju Parulekar stream. I will put up the time. I think it is at 8 or 9. I mean, uske आसपास ही होगा. So yeah, come with questions. We are going to ask a lot of questions to Raju Parulekar. Okay, bye. Bye.